Kevis, you want to give us the recap this time? I just kind of feel like it should be you today.
Oh, thanks.
You don't have to. I'll do it.
I think I can get it.
Okay, cool.
High level if I miss anything for sure. But
yeah, sure.
So after Kevis and Pinky having the most awkward conversation with the court ever, we were tasked with returning said book to Bavlorna. So we make our way up to her cabin. Upon entering, both Kevis and Pinky have, I guess you call flashback horror. After seeing the little things scattering all around her house, we make our way up to I think it was like the second floor. Go in the one room that looks to be a very poorly kept guest bedroom with mummified pixies, while Eli kind of diverts over to the correct room and runs into Bavlorna and Charm, the witch. Yep. We have a discussion about getting Zarius's and Moose's items back. And we basically get an option of doing her labor work to get a chance to make an offer to get the stuff back. So we come back down. One of the chores being figuring out why this pool here is not filling up, and then the other being to go pick up her taxidermy stuffed animals. So the group starts to figure out why the water here is not flowing. I remember I rolled like a nat 20 or something ridiculous to see that 10 feet below, it was just clear. So Moose reached in with, I think, Zarius' spear, poked it, started a fight with a galactic cube. Did not go.
A cylinder.
Did not go very well, considering most of the fight, it consumed Moose and Zarius. And then Kevis shot Moose in the arm. Sorry.
I used to be an adventurer.
And in that fight, we learned both Kevis's and Pinky's subclass. Pinky with a clutch fairy fire to throw every type of advantage on. Zarius and Moose almost dying. Nobody dies in the end. Kevis is currently holding the bow, arms out, no emotion, staring, not acknowledging if the fight is still over.
During the scuffle inside of the cube, Zarius made a few fails and lost his spear and is currently plummeting down the pipe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's about right.
And Pinky has noticed he has grown extra prongs on his horns.
Right. That's a thing. I probably should have remembered that.
Pinky saw it. She's like,
Technically, Kevis is unaware of this right now. Yeah. So yeah, we start off with you guys being fairly beaten and battered due to some bully dice on your against you guys last time. And yeah, Zarius, are you diving down to get your spear?
Are we out of initiative order at this point, by the way?
Yeah, there's no combat right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I am, before even Zarius makes a decision, Eli is running to this tube and diving down it. Actually,
alrighty.
Just I have actual dice. 1 second, let me bring it back.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Eli comes over and jumps into the water, and like the water is actually like kind of like at this point, like once the gelatinous cylinder came out, it begins to flow back up into the room appropriately, and so Eli has to kind of wade across like kind of using his toes to scooch himself along the bottom of the pool, and climbs up and dives down.
Oh, Guys.
Am I able to control how far I go down by chance?
You can use like an athletics check. So first of all, your the way the amount of time that you can hold your breath is 1 plus your Constitution modifier.
Okay.
So
that's 5.
Yeah, so you can hold your breath for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then you would have to do an athletics check to kind of control yourself with how, like, especially because you're wearing heavy armor. It'd be an athletics check to control how far you're sinking versus how much you're rising up in the water, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to go 15, 20 feet. I'm not trying to go the whole length of the tube. I'm just going to go 10, 15 feet down.
Okay.
If that means it.
Yeah.
And
roll an athletics check just to.
And athletics is strength, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's a 16.
16. Hey, that's pretty high. Okay, yeah, you're easily controlling yourself as Eli disappears down the tube along with his glowing lights. So you guys are all kind of plunged back into some darkness here. And I wasn't expecting to be able to use this. However, I have a perfect bit of sound for this. I have a song called Submerged.
Yeet.
Yeah.
I'm going to bonus action cast Healing Word Twinned on myself and Zarius.
Ooh, a little bit of meta magic from the sorcerer.
Oh, nice.
All right. So go ahead and roll your healing there.
6 for each of us.
6 for each. Nice. Okay, and Eli, yeah, you go down and the water here coming kind of flowing up the tube. While it's still like rank, dingy, like swamp water, it's a lot cleaner than the water you walked through to get to the tube. Especially because the gelatinous cylinder had just kind of dissipated and its acidic body had amplified the stinginess of the water around you. So you submerge and it's actually a little bit refreshing by comparison being in here.
Okay.
And you it's about like a little bit more than 5 foot, 10 foot wide, or it's somewhere between 5 and 10 feet, maybe about 7-8 feet wide. And what are you doing?
I would like to cast Mage Hands and have it grab the spear.
Ooh, okay. So you go down. First of all, roll me a perception check to see if you can see the spear.
Yeah. That's my wisdom modifier?
Yep.
Yes, that's a 14.
14. Okay, yeah, you can see it. You look down the kind of like stone tube leading below you, and you do see tip first in the muck, kind of leaning up against the side, Zarius's spear. Additionally, you also see a small chest.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm grabbing the spear with the mage hands and gonna try to like have it shoot back up out of the cylinder above me.
Yeah, the spear's not too heavy.
Yeah.
So the mage hand can handle that, no problem.
Cool. And I'm gonna swim my ass back up out with it.
All right, sounds good. Okay. Eli returns a moment later with his glowing rock coming back out. You guys see kind of a light kind of beginning to swell inside of the tube, and then it comes out, and like Eli with his wet goblin-esque ears kind of shaking off, and he's got the spear. Or he did you grab the spear, or did you send the spear ahead of you before you?
It's like right before me, and Mage Hand still has it.
Okay, so Zarius, your spear is clutched in a semi-corporeal hand floating above the water.
I got your spear.
Okay, I'll grab it back. I'll grab it out of the tent.
Okay.
Sweet.
Nice work.
Yeah. So guess what, guys? Guess what? Guess what?
Super cool.
Why?
Guess what? There's something else down there.
What
Like
do you
another
mean?
gelatinous.
Yeah,
Two?
check this out. Watch. And I'll reach into my pack and I'll grab out my 50 feet of rope.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna tie it around my belly and then hands the other side to Moose.
Thanks.
All right. Just because it's a theme with this group, roll a sleight of hand check to see how good, or an intelligence check to see how good your knot is.
Yeah, I rolled a 19. I don't know what my modifier is.
19 is gonna be fine.
Okay. Cool.
Even if you had a -5, which you don't.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tie it and hand it to Moose as long as he grabs onto it, and then as soon as I see him grab onto it, I am plummeting to the bottom of this thing I saw.
With no real warning or whatnot, he just drops and Moose, you've got a rope in your hands.
And yeah, I'm gonna try to plummet back down to this chest.
Okay. Yeah, this time you just let your heavy key armor and your dense little goblin body, or verdant body, drop, and you go down and land in the muck, and like as you do, your feet plummet and they sink a little bit. There's like that kind of wispy plume of silt that's kicked up afterwards. And as you're kind of down there holding your breath, you see, and everything kind of gets cloudy for a minute as you land, and then it begins to settle and relax, kind of get back to normal. A little piece of like gunk is floating in between your eyes, things like that. And you look around, and inside the base of the wall here, there's like slits built into the pipe. And roll an Arcana check for me.
Interesting. That's intelligence.
Yep.
It's an 8.
8. If Eli was curious, he has no idea how the water flows. Like, how does it go up this tube up to the house? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Whatever.
It's just how rain is made.
Exactly. Water's weird here. Water
Water's
comes up from
scary.
the ground, and water wants to flow upward and hither, according to what you guys have discovered so far.
I know where both rain and hills come from.
Gonna go back home and be a
That's right.
scientist.
Okay, cool. So
Scientation.
I'm sitting right in front of this chest, right?
Yep.
Cool.
And it's about this big.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna grab onto the handles of it and see if I can't pull it up a bit. Yeah, get it chest tight. And
Yeah, it takes a little bit to like get it out of the mud because it's kind of like sunk in there like on one corner, and like it takes a couple of tugs, but you get it. And like yeah, it's kind of heavy. It's probably full of water. Yeah, you get it.
I wanna tug on the rope 3 times. Just
Moose, the rope tugs, but you guys didn't really set up a password or anything for this.
Hey guys, the rope is moving.
Is he okay?
I don't know. Do you think
You
I'm
wanna
supposed to
give him
throw
like
the rope down?
like a tug back or something?
Yeah, I'll tug it. I'll tug it.
Tug it like through like. Are you like hauling him up or just giving him a tug like a signal too?
Yeah, I tug it. Yeah, to give him a signal.
Cool. So, Eli, the rope tugs on your end, like a little bit of.
yeah. No, I'm just gonna like just yank it one time really hard to let him know, like pull my ass up.
Okay, so you're sitting there and oh,
Does he want you to let go?
I don't know. I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay.
And I start
pull it
pulling
up.
it up.
sounds good. Eli, you start coming upward, like, and after about a moment or so, you do manage to get him up. No problem.
I got a chest.
Look at whoa.
Isn't this cool?
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna,
And that,
I'm gonna
everything
get.
down there.
Yeah. I'm gonna get out of this cylinder and sit it on the floor and kind of shake my ass off, have all my keys jingle, you know, like a wet dog, you know.
Including with his large verdant ears. Just they definitely add to that dog shaking sound because it's like they just go flap 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 flap. All right, and you guys are in the middle of the pool. The pool has pretty much at this point like it's beginning to rise, just about to rise up above the height of the tube itself, and it's just about to reach that about 4.5 foot high maximum. That lines up at the grimy water level that's surrounding the pool itself.
So I'm drowning.
Yeah, just about.
Oh,
Like you have to keep yourself like you're treading water just to be in here.
I'll grab the chest and I will come over here with it.
Okay.
We'll get out of the
Oh,
water
it's
as
rising.
well.
I get flying
All
out
right,
of this
everybody's
pool.
getting out of the water.
Thanks.
Yeah. Gailey's gonna swim his way back out.
All right.
And
So,
I'll toss him back his rope.
oh yeah, that's right. I'll undo it from around my belt, coil it back with him. Hey, guys, where's Candace? He would like to see this, right? That was cool. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, that was super cool.
Right?
Zarius says as
And
he's
you
got
got
like
me my spear back. You like the best.
Zarius says that was super cool as he's got like burn marks on his face and arms and stuff.
Are you sure? Because like you just got like eaten by a slime.
Yeah, things happen.
Slime happens. It's like the D&D version of shit happens.
I need new friends.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Pinky. You just been at the carnival too long. Like, I don't know. This is just the way life is.
The pinky shade is real.
I'm not used to working this much.
Working? This
I
is
agree,
working.
Moose.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm pulling all these ropes and stuff.
Oh, I
Fetching
suppose.
stuff for people. I just do what I want.
You don't you have like monastery duties or something where you came from?
So no, that's not. It's not the way that my monastery works. So like, I'm not from this plane. I'm from the plane of air. So
You're from an airplane?
yeah.
What's an
man.
airplane?
Different plane of existence. We're with the air.
Oh, okay.
So
Does
when,
everything fly there?
pretty much, yeah. All in the air, so I mean, you can't really get around if you can't fly. You were asking about like if I had monastery duties. No, so what happens is like our society, certain people are trained for certain things, and then like, they send us to the prime material plane to learn more, and then we have to come back. So like, I'm just on the prime material plane.
Well,
I
we're
haven't been to
not
the
on
plane of
the.
air in a long time. I know you
We're-
guys took me
We're
to
in
the
the
Feywild,
Fae.
but,
We're in the Fae right now, actually.
but I'm supposed to like learn more stuff for my monastery and then bring it back to them and let them know about it. So
What plane is the Feywild in?
It's just the Fae.
Yeah, it's the Fae is a plane.
with like multiple dimensions around it. It's complicated because it's the Fae.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I
Most
don't
planes
get
aren't
it.
Like,
Yeah, I
most
don't get it
planes aren't
either.
like this. It's just what they are. But they apparently like you got this one, which is crap. But apparently you got two other ones that they're from that are different, and they say somehow better.
Was better than this.
Do they teach you how to open chests in the monetary?
Boom. Now we're asking the real questions.
I mean, have you just tried to open the chest? Is it locked?
I didn't. I did not try to open it. I was going to leave that to the expert, openers of chests.
So I think that would be between Pinky and me, and I think Pinky would be better at it. I mean, I could do
Just-
it, but
Not to toot my horn or anything.
don't you think you should? I'm not the smartest person, okay? And
I thought you had a flute.
But
Oh,
shouldn't
I
you
do
check
have a
it for
flute.
traps first?
I don't
Why would it be
see any.
trapped? I think the trap was the cube.
You want to try opening it like normal first, maybe?
Yeah. Give it a shot.
I'll open it.
Yay!
Final
Right.
Fantasy
Typing.
VII.
All right, you try to open the lid. It's a pretty simple latch mechanism. You turn like a knob and like flip the latch up and like begin to pull it upward. And as you do, there's a little bit of like a resistance to it. And you kind of push past that, and it's just like the water that was in there had kind of made like an airtight seal. And as you like pull it up, it's like that moment where water and air begin to like reconfigure their positioning, and and it pops up, and there's kind of an extra flood of water that comes out of this thing,
You
sitting
need
on
a
the side.
knee block.
And it's there is it's a chest. It's about this big, and there is like a flat surface of water on it. And there's a couple of items inside.
Ooh.
Eli, there's stuff in your chest.
What?
There's stuff in here.
There's
In that
Kevis.
chest.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. What is it?
I don't know. There's this, and I'll pull out one of them.
One second. Okay. So whoever this is going to be random loot. So whoever is feeling lucky, give me a D100 roll.
Your chest, Eli.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, sure. Hold on a second. What is it? Let's see. Fuck me. Where's the other one? Give me another one. Yeah, this one. Here we go. That is 18.
18 on the D100.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so now roll me two different D100s.
98.
Anything 89 or below is acceptable, so that's a little too high. So go ahead and roll one more time for me.
Rolls an 18 and then a 98.
81.
81. All right. Ooh, that's interesting and appropriate.
Oh my god. I rolled another 18.
Another 18. All right. So. All right. I'm looking stuff up, and like I said, my computer is being a bit slow, so it's loading.
Yeah, at some point Pinky's lost interest in this chest and she's going to, because she hasn't seen Kevis in the group, gonna go over
Who
to
are you?
him.
What have you done with Pinky? There's stuff happening. Why is Pinky
There's
not
loot!
interested in stuff?
Because she saw other stuff that was more interesting.
Mhm.
AKA her friend just grew horns.
Okay.
Giggity.
Hmm.
Okay, so you, one of them, Moose, you hold up, and it's this tiny little glass sphere, which is a little bit sticky, on the outside of it, like almost, slightly gelatinous feeling to it. And yep, it's kind of got like, it's like this squishy ball of goo and maybe like air inside.
Yeah.
And
It
the other
might
thing
be like
is
a gelatinous cube egg or something.
Oh, can we have a gelatinous? Can we have one of those things as a pet? Is that what you're telling me right now?
I don't know, but it's like a little ball, and it's kind of like the thing that was in the tube.
Ooh, I want one of those as a pet.
and then
hand
the other thing seems to be a like kind of a necklace with little golden beads for the string, and then there's like it's attached to like this dark like uncut crystal that has like a little bit of like swirling bit inside of it.
Pinky, there's a necklace in here.
Necklace there?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm tempted.
It's shiny.
Is it pink?
It's got a black stone.
That's not pink.
But it's a necklace.
I'll come take a look at it in a second.
Okay.
Turn back to Kevis. Give him a little poke. Hey, bud. You in there?
You come over, and Kevis is still just staring at the portion where he shot the cube, and from the corners of his eyes, it is like bright leaf green in the corners. And
We've like
then
a
maybe about a quarter of the way into his eyes is black. And the rest of his eyes are normal, they're just extremely unfocused.
wave a hand in front of his face. Do 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 do.
No response.
Hey guys, I think Kevis is broken.
What? How did you break him?
I don't know.
I mean, I saw him use Fey magic earlier. Aren't you like a master of Fey? Don't you know how to fix it?
What do you mean a master of Fey? Just because I lived somewhere similar.
You are in this group. You two are the Fey people, right? What do we? I mean, I could poke him with a stick, or I could do this and like I'll cast healing light on him, which I think is a D6. I don't really remember. I think it's D6.
Yeah, you should be able to pull up your D&D Beyond still, even if you're just running on your phone.
Yeah, I'm not even running it on my phone. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got D&D Beyond on my phone. Whoa. Yeah, could be
Part of
doing
me
that.
that just wants to see how the group deals with Kevis.
I think he's broken. I don't know, guys. Maybe you should just come over here and look for yourselves. Kevis. Hello? Anyone in
Beaches.
there?
There's nothing else in the chest, right, Morgan?
Yeah, it's a 1d6. So Kevis would get 3 healing from that.
Okay, so Kevis, free healing to you, and no, there's nothing left in the chest. Just those couple of items.
Close the lid and fly over towards broken Kevis.
Okay, are you guys keeping the chest or leaving it alone?
I just closed the lid and left it there for now.
Okay, sounds good.
So did we take this stuff, or you just leaving the chest, or we just left everything in the chest?
I've got
I've got the
Okay.
necklace, I guess.
Oh, Kevis, are you okay? Guys, he's not responding. I think he's broken, like, for reals.
Is he still breathing?
Yes? Think so?
Yeah, he's still breathing. It's a little bit irregular.
But, like,
Sometimes it
it's
seems very steady. Other times it's like a big breath. Sometimes it's a little like a shudder, like a.
It's weird, though. His breathing's kind of weird. I don't
I
think
would like
he's
to-
very stable.
I'd like to look around in the water right around me and see if there's any leaves floating around.
There's no leaves, but there is a lily pad.
No leaves.
Can I pull the arrow out of my arm?
What are you gonna do with that?
Here's your arrow back, Kevis.
Yep, you pull it through and. Goose. Roll a. Roll a D100 for me.
Magical 18.
Wow, that number
What
today.
is this?
Hell yeah.
I don't know what the odds of 3 18s on D100s is, but it is very high.
Pretty high.
Probably higher than 3 nat 1s.
It's much higher than 3 now. It's on a D20.
Yeah, that was insane. What? And we determined that was 8,000 to 1 odds last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
You
real
guys are
rough.
breaking. You guys are breaking all the statistics.
Well, we do best.
Okay. Good to know on the triple 18. And you guys are all just sitting there talking to him.
I guess I'll, like, give him a little shake.
Okay. And you reach out and like, are you just like grabbing him on the shoulder?
Just like a very gentle, like, shake on the shoulder. Not
Okay.
trying to break him more,
As soon as you touch him, his eyes come back and he is panicked. Rushes away from you guys, running into the boxes and like,
Kev, you okay, bud?
What does Kevis see?
I'm sending you a message.
Okay, guys. I don't think he's okay, guys.
Kevis just doesn't speak. He's just looking around.
I think I've
It's all-
broken him.
I'm okay, Kevis. You didn't really hurt me. I mean, it hurt, but you all right? You okay?
We like lost you there for a second, bud. Not in the same way that we lost Moose and Darius.
Do I see? I guess does Kevis see the actual group?
It takes you a minute. It's like there's two realities that like you're trying to like make sense of two realities clashing at once, and it takes you a minute to kind of like separate them and like actually see what you're seeing.
Okay. Kevis doesn't say anything, and he's just looking around.
You look a little lost, my friend. Recap, we are in Bavlorna's soggy cottage of sadness and grossness. We just killed the slime. You just killed the slime.
Kevis is kind of like searching, kind of starts to narrow down. Looks up at Pinky as she starts talking. Grabs his amulet. Like he starts patting himself till he hits his amulet. Right.
Yeah.
Slowly stands back up. Acts like nothing happened.
All right. Well, what was the next thing we were supposed to do?
We had to get some dead carcasses from somebody delivered.
Right. That was the
Just any-
next thing on the list. We also
Just
had
any
the other guy to get
carcasses?
his head. There was a shipment of animals that was
Yep.
in downfall that were coming to her. We're supposed to deliver them. But also the other guy wanted us to find his head too.
I think we could.
That's correct. We're supposed to be looking for a head as well.
Do we want to do the head right now, or do we want to?
Well, figured we could get the guy on the way by, right? Because he's just right out there, right? Like, we just dropped him off before we came in here. So we can get him on the way by because a way to find the animals, and then we can just do them at the same time.
Well, he doesn't need to come with us. We just need to find it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't he like a guide?
And I'm
He
pretty
is.
sure I know who has
Couldn't he
his
guide
head.
us to it? Couldn't he guide us
Oh.
to the animals? I don't know where they are.
Wait, Pinky, you know where it's at?
Well, he
He's
said a rabbit with a blue scarf took it.
Oh, that's
That's-
right.
That's acting.
Long scarf. That's right.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go mess with him, I'd really like to sleep first.
I wouldn't be against that necessarily. I think we've all kind of been through the ringer a little bit, to say the least.
We should take a look in town here. Maybe find a place to stay.
Couldn't we just go back to the king's court because we got to tell him we delivered the book and then
Oh,
we're
yeah.
honorary members of the court? So don't you think he'd have somewhere for us to sleep?
The castle?
You're a smart guy.
I'm sorry, was that a little
No,
ambitious
right.
of me to assume that we'd get access to the castle and we could sleep there?
Well, we
Yeah,
get
He said that
access.
we would have access to the pits and that you would have access to the castle and that we could ask people questions. So I just think that it would be, we should go back there first and then guy with the head, I don't remember his name, and he had a head, so I don't really know what he wants us to find, but he's there too, so like we could go get him and see what he really wanted, and then we could go talk to the king and tell him we gave him the book, and then we can get a prize. But she also said that was a shit prize, guys.
The guy with the head? What? You mean Clabberclaw?
Yeah.
He's
the guy
missing.
with the head.
I'm
Darius
confused.
like blurted that all out really fast, so then he's gonna take a deep breath and then he's gonna slow down.
Pinky's lost.
Pinky, so we're gonna get the guy with the head. You called him Clapperclaw? So
Yeah, why
right?
are we grabbing him though?
Because he's a guide.
Oh, fair.
Then we get him because we have to get him first before we go to the king because it's on the way by.
That makes sense.
Then we talk to the king, tell him that we gave Bev Lorna the book that he wanted to give us. We get our prize, which is members of the Soggy Court.
Honorary members, yeah.
Then we can see if there's somewhere to sleep, and then like we could see if we get access to the castle. And then after that, we can go and deal with the stupid rabbit.
I would like access to that castle.
If we did all that, then we wouldn't really have to like backtrack or nothing. Like we could just do it all in like one loop, and then
Okay. I think we can find an ally in the castle actually, if we could get there.
Then maybe they can find somebody that can identify like our stuff. Because I've had the spear and I still don't know what it does, but the one dude at the one spot with the other wings, he said it was magic.
Oh, that'd be nice. Okay, so we're gonna go get Clabberclaw. We're gonna go back to the Soggy Court, get our membership, and go.
Now we have a real plan.
Yeah. So let's get the fuck out of here, right? Yeah, fuck this place.
Yes. More than happy to leave.
Candace, you feeling okay to walk?
Yeah. Or does like
just
Moose
walks.
need to carry you?
Just walks.
Doesn't say anything, just takes off walking.
Oh,
Is
he okay?
Is this the door?
Are you opening that door?
What door is it?
Yeah,
a door.
it's the trap door that you guys are in front of.
Oh, it is the trap door.
And do you guys see the little trapdoor icon before you move close to it, or does it only appear when you're close to it?
Only when you're close.
Mhm.
Perfect. All right. Oh,
Hello,
and
dog.
last one is Eli.
You have to move me.
All right, so you guys all wind
Booking
up.
it, my goodness.
Wind around back to where our boat was, right? Or did we?
Well, Eli has the boat,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Forgot it's full.
and I'm the DM, so I can ignore walls. So Eli
I
moves
see
the
that.
fastest.
Wow.
Hell
This
yeah.
is an outrage.
So as we get back down, I'm just gonna be like, all right, cool. What side do you guys want on? Because last time I fucked that up. Does it matter? You guys don't care what side I put the boat on? Nope. Okay, cool.
I'm trying to remember.
All right. Yep, and you guys can all move. I got to move out towards like where my cursor is to start to get off of the bridge.
And then we go north. We go
We
north.
go north, Pinky.
on the bridge. And is our vision back to normal?
No,
As
it's not
normal
because
as foggy can be, because I can only see 5 feet in front of me now.
oh yeah, I gotta fix everybody. Hold on. Because the with the way that those things work, like those doors that teleport you, they keep the same instance of the token, even if the token details change on it, it goes back. So
Yeah.
everybody is restricted to 20 feet of movement or 20 feet of vision here just because of the brightness. But I had to change that inside of the room.
And the vision's different because of the fog, not because of darkness, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. Oh, great. These guys again.
Okay, I think everybody's got the vision that they should be having.
I can see clearly now. The fog is gone.
All right, where to put Eli? Eli's still in the water.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Okay,
point.
yeah.
Does his light... Doesn't he still have his
Yeah.
light going?
Yeah, my light's
Yeah.
still technically on.
Yep, he does. Oh, I need to fix his vision too. So yeah, you're just walking around with a glowing stick.
I like my glow stick.
However, drop that down as well. So, you still only see 20 feet around you, but the fog and mist around you is purple.
Yay!
All right, and you guys walk back into the court, and the guards have once again fallen asleep.
Isn't that why Pinky just slipped right through them?
Yeah, they're not even paying attention. They don't. All they do every day is just stand around, and they're not exactly attentive. But the arrangement of the court itself has kind of shifted around and whatnot, and doesn't appear to be lunchtime anymore. And they're all just sitting around and chatting and whatnot. And a couple of them, and that kind of pot-bellied frog looks at you, Pinky, and gives you this very uncomfortable wink,
Hey.
what are you guys doing?
Who announces us?
Right, who announces this? You just
Who announces you guys?
I think you do, Moose. You do?
I'll use my booming voice and I'll say, "The floor gang has arrived at the soggy court."
And King Gulupton's excellent. Proper introduction this time. Good. Excellent, Master Moose.
We have returned from Bavlorna's with good
There's
news
this,
and great
there's
tidings.
this- There's an excited look in his eye. Yes, tell me, how did everything go?
The floor gang was successful in their endeavor on the mission sent by the king.
Great. Excellent. This is most superlative good news. What happened? Explain your adventure, please.
We delivered the book, and then we cleaned a pool.
Right.
Successfully.
Thank you for cleaning the pool, as I'm sure that was extremely necessary. And mostly, however, thank you for returning the book that I was keeping safe care of for Bavlorna's sake. Yes.
It was an honor to serve the Soggy court.
And the Soggy court is happy to have you. Now, come, kneel before me to become honorary members. As you have completed the task, I shall uphold my end of the bargain.
Kevis steps up, doesn't kneel. We need to have a chat about this honorary court. Because we had a chat with Sibylla herself, and she said that your reward means absolutely nothing.
He looks legitimately offended. Oh, being a member of the court has great weight and responsibility to lead the people of Downfall.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
What is happening to Kevis? Can I just...
21.
I need to insight check him.
21. He is extremely committed to what he's saying.
So it gives off that, like, to him, it's an honor. So it doesn't give off that, like, he's trying to bullshit us.
Yeah, it's just like, one man's trash is another man's treasure sort of thing.
Okay.
He thinks it's amazing.
So what exactly do we get from this? You said we get access to the prisoner. Pinky here wanted access to the castle.
The palace. Yes, you certainly, as an honorary member of the Soggy Court, you would be able to traverse back and forth within the castle, out of the castle, or out of the palace, and speak to all of its members. You would also have the authority to go and speak with our prisoner before she is arraigned for her trial by combat.
Excellent. Excellent. Do we need like some sort of like symbol to show that we've got access to these things, or can we just walk up?
Come.
All right, I'm
Kneel before me.
It's fine. Quiet.
Kevin's still standing.
Does everybody
Yeah,
get up there though?
Pinky's kneel and she just wants that medal and she's gone.
All right. And several of the court members, they make space, so you guys can actually be there.
I'm not sure that Bane would kneel either, but he would step up and we'll see if that's enough.
Pinky could necessarily kneel without being like a foot tall, so she might just do like a little curtsy or something, a little bow.
And the king kind of sees you all kneeling, not kneeling, none of you are listening, and he kind of leans to the queen and.
What's he saying?
They seem to have, he's just muttering to himself.
Oh.
If you want to try to determine that, you can give me a perception check.
Oh yeah, I will. Pinky will indeed like to do that. 15.
Okay, 15. Yeah, he's leaning over and talking to the queen and saying, "We'll have to keep an eye on these ones. They don't seem to respect our authority." And without even looking at anybody, he waves over to a knight, and this guy is in full armor, comes over with a spear that looks like a cattail in its creation, and very upright sort of way, and hands a rose over to the king. And the rose, and he kind of flicks the rose, and the rose becomes a sword. And he goes through a knighting process, taps each one of you on both shoulders. And one by one, he says, "To Moose. To Moose of Bane's Bottom.
Ravensmire.
This is your title in the court. To Zarius of Airbuzz. To Pinky of Shinyfly. To Eli." And he pauses and previously he was very confused by Eli previously, and he takes him a minute to think of it. Eli, strange words. And then goes over to Kevis. And Kevis of Dark Tree. And he knights you and bestows you all your own title to use within the court. And now that you're thinking of it, the Duke of Icarand and Muckstump, the Knight of Warts, as you're like, okay, so every one of these titles here is just made up on the spot. Got it.
I'm like, great, cool.
Yeah, so everybody who has a title so far, they all sound kind of semi-swamp related, but that's it. But all the people seem to have a dear attachment to them. You are now members of the court. He flicks the rose or flicks the sword and goes back to the rose, and he hands it back to the knight. And he reaches over into what is essentially a snack jar next to him. And he pulls out several little blue beetles with a green tint on their horns. And they're pretty small. And he kind of breathes on them. And instead of skittering around, they all freeze and stop moving.
Did he just kill them with his breath?
And they kind of flatten out into a little, almost like a blue and green beetle coin. And then he comes up and he with a little spike on the end, it pins it on each one of your clothings. Eli, he has to pin it on his hood because you don't have any clothing on your chest. It's all hidden under keys.
Yeah, boy.
It's these will show that you are honorary members. And once again, welcome to the court. We expect great things from you for the prosperity of our people. And he's being grandiose about this whole thing, being louder than he needs to be in order to, project and make it more of just a ceremony.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. And yes, you should be thankful for this great honor.
I don't feel any different.
The weight of responsibility will hit you within time. It is something all great leaders like myself have gone through. You will find it eventually.
All right. So we really appreciate this great gesture. Is there any place for us to sleep, or what is this? Being members of your court, what does this come with? What does this entail?
Oh, as I mentioned to Pinky I'll admit I made up all those up on the spot. So
Pinky of Shiny Fly.
Shiny Fly. As I said to Shiny Fly, you can have access to the palace. The prisoner, you can order any of our servants to bring you food and drink. Anything along those lines.
Can we stay at the palace and sleep there?
Certainly.
Well, that's where we're going, guys!
Wait, where do we go? Where did we come from?
Kanai Joe.
Nah, Joe.
Which way, Your Highness?
There. It's like, have you not seen the grandeur of the palace from the outside yet?
It's real foggy here.
Kevis just points to the fog.
Yeah, can you guys like see through the fog?
We are well adapted to this environment, so certainly.
Is there any way you could help us see through this fog?
Yes, there's nothing that we can do, but after about 10 years or so, your eyes will adjust to the fog, and you'll become as you become more and more of a native of downfall.
Nope. Stick to my center court. It's fine.
That's lovely to hear. I don't know how long we'll be staying here, but wonderful. Thank you for that information.
Yes, excellent. And I will call upon you soon for additional duties as leaders and protectors of this space. But for now,
Said
you are
duty.
dismissed.
Of course. Until then, I'm going to catch up on some beauty sleep. It's very important. And, yeah, please do not disturb me while I am sleeping.
Wouldn't dream of it. Okay, so he gestures out to the right hand. You guys can move towards the palace and whatnot. And Eli kind of moving forward with his purple glow, and you come along this way, and kind of from the distance, you did see a very large space with two different large tree branches. This palace is essentially built into a large swampy tree, and it has these two branches that just stick out the sides directly. And you come up upon it. There's two guards with spears standing next to it, and two alligators. Kind of they're wrestling and like playing in the water currently. Just you come up and see the guards. They look more like just normal workers than like the knights that you've seen. But yeah, they say, "Halt! Who goes there?"
The new honorary members of the Soggy Court. I called it the Foggy.
Oh, excellent. We're missing a person. Who are we missing? We're missing Zarius.
Zarius.
Mine says I'm in Bavlorna's cottage and I have no token, so I can't move.
Okay, that's probably an ownership issue, so...
It does say that his character is in Bavlorna's cottage for some reason.
It's like sneaking off to break in on his own.
Yeah. We're like, wait, come back.
Oh, I messed up. I clicked on that on accident. Now I'm stuck here.
Oh, Kevis.
I thought I still had ownership too, and then I realized, wait, Morgan fixed that last session.
Yeah, I'm checking it now. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. Here, I will delete Zarius and just put him in with a new token.
If
And
you
I
just
also
like
get
click
moved.
on the map name at the top, does that bring you back out?
I don't have that name anymore. The map name.
It happened with the slanty tower too. Like
Wait,
would
Kevis,
end
are
up
you broken too?
Yeah.
because he
Oh.
touched the
Dumb.
forbidden button.
I touched a button.
Don't touch things.
They're up there. They're shiny. What does it mean? Like,
It was weird because as soon as I clicked it, I had both of them. I had the cottage and the court, and as soon as I clicked the cottage, the court button
The
disappeared.
court disappeared. Yeah.
That's interesting. Here, let me. Okay, I'm gonna try something new. Do.
Let me know when you're done. I'll like sign out and sign back in because mine's just a black screen and it says Bad Lorna's cottage.
it's dark in there.
Side.
Nah, for Kevis.
If it means anything to anybody, I have now completely wiped my hard drive, and I am currently reinstalling Windows onto my hard drive.
I'm back out,
Woohoo!
Morgan.
Wow.
Nice. How about now? I think I gave you guys access so you should see both the cottage and downfall up at the top menu.
Yep.
Sweet.
Not touching the cottage
will-
anymore.
I will remember to for locations where I like put those doors between different maps. I'll give you guys navigation access
There we go.
so it doesn't mess with us like this. Cool. Learning new things. And congratulations, Mazel Tov, and condolences on your laptop, Mike.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm sorry. Maybe after break, I'll actually have like a real PC moving. It's up in Windows right now, so
Yeah,
that's cool.
it might not be a bad idea to give myself a fresh version of Windows. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Okay, so you guys just say we are the new members of the Soggy Courts. Is that it?
Yeah.
We show them our little
Show them the little
our
pin on
pins.
my
Our pins.
my
The
desk.
pins.
Sorry guys, just a moment. I am having a little bit of a technical difficulty that I'm trying to get to. Huh. I don't know what's going on here. Okay.
It's a month.
Yep. So you show them the pins, and they look at one another, and there's this like confused look on their faces, and one of them, the guy that stopped you, stay here for just a moment, and he runs off towards the way that you just came. And the other guy's just like looking around, like kind of questioningly, like he has no idea what's going on.
What? Can I go, frog dude? Can I follow your friend?
And he puts the spear in front of the door. No.
I'm going back. I'm going back. I want to follow this. Can I at some
Okay,
point?
bye.
Bye. Can I like stealth?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
A 20.
Okay, dirty 20. Yeah, you feel pretty stealthy.
Hey, I'm just gonna quietly fall. Maybe I'll fall along over the water a little bit. I'll just. Is he really going back all the way to the court?
Yeah, and you see, like, he runs up and he, like, it's like whispering in the king's ear, and the king is, like, frustratingly, like, gesturing him away. And then he begins to run back.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Is he saying anything while he's running back?
No,
Do
he's
I
just
see his lips moving at all? Okay.
yeah, you do, but they're just
It's just him breathing.
he's just breathing,
Interesting.
and he runs back and he comes back into his position, and he kind of turns back and opens up the door, and says, "Now, entering honorary members of the Soggy Corps, and he turns over to Bane. What were your names again?
Moose
The
of
floor gang.
Bottom.
Now presenting the Floor Gang!"
You're the floor gang too.
And he opens up the door, so you guys are welcome to enter inside.
Ooh. Who is first person I see? I'm gonna fly over to them.
You see this guy over here, kind of an orange and blackish frog with like white frills coming up around their neck, kind of a brown, mud-caked coat with some like nice yellowish filigree like following all over. And he's sitting at a table and dining, it's like a small personal table. This place is mostly filled with like cushions and whatnot.
Oh,
So it's just, yes, hello,
hello.
welcome.
I think we should have a proper introduction. I am Pinky of the Floor
Hey.
Gang.
Of the Floor Gang, oh, and there's many of you. Welcome to the Soggy Palace.
Who might you be?
There's several more people that start like rushing in, clearly interested in like there's something new is happening. And you guys are suddenly like kind of like accosted by like several different people trying to introduce themselves and talk at the same time. And it's a little bit like, oh man.
Okay, one at a time.
And they're not paying attention to you at all. Their self-importance doesn't listen in the slightest. You pick up, several of them, highs and lows and large voices, some pinched voices. Several of them. There's one of them that comes up and just like starts petting Moose a little bit. Like,
There's
oh
one
my, you
name
have such quite an exquisite body.
There's one name that
Flex.
Pinky would be specifically listening for in anything Illig. Baroness of Muckstump is what she'd be looking.
Okay. Yeah, you hear things. Grand Fly Eater and Croaks Loud and Water Bubble. Just more nonsensical titles. And roll a perception check for me as you're trying to like sort through all of this stuff that's being said.
And I'm going to add one of my psionic die to that. So when
Okay.
because I am proficient in perception. So that'd be a
All
13.
right. Okay, so once again, you're like, there's this moment where you know you're not you're like, okay, what is happening? And you're like trying to like concentrate your mental focus, and then there's a portion of it that just becomes clear. Like you're able to start to pick things out a little bit better. Illig, Muckstump. You don't think you've heard it.
Okay. I'm just gonna. Do they seem like very focused on like the group as a whole? Could I sneak away?
You can try, but you guys are the center of attention right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait a little bit then. Okay, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna turn to the one next to me and say, "Where do we find rooms?"
It's like, oh, you can. Here, come. You can be here. And she gestures to the room next to her. The entire palace. The layout is just large open rooms where people can like sit on cushions, and there's not really much for furniture in here. Wherever like the actual like functional pieces of this that would go into a palace, they're not built into this place. It's like there's a separate location where maybe like the cooking and like the servants sleep and stuff like that. And you guys have already seen the gazebo that serves as like the court area, and you don't immediately see anything that like looks like a throne room in here either. This looks more like a large house for perpetual dinner parties. But the kind of parties where like somebody's like bringing around a tray and you just like sit there and like with one hand like eat whatever's on the little plate.
Are there private quarters somewhere?
No, there's no need for anything private here. We're all part of the community.
Are there more of you somewhere?
Everywhere.
Oh.
We are the caretakers of Downfall, and so we the court are everywhere, as are our servants.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to rest here, Pinky.
You guys, what's the problem with taking a rest here? I don't understand.
It's just not very restful.
We had people around us before, right? I mean, we could sleep with a watch.
They can bring us food, right?
Yeah.
We could take like naps. I don't know if I want to like sleep here for 8 hours.
I've slept in much worse conditions. I don't know. We slept in a tree.
Look, I've slept in plenty of trees
like
before in my life
conditions.
too, but like not a tree full of other people. Like
yeah, I was about to say all 6 of us were in the same tree at one point.
Okay, but that's not a dozen. That's 6.
Okay,
it's half a dozen.
So it's the quantity of people here. All right. Well, I mean, if you want to stand watch the entire time while I sleep, I'm fine with this.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too, Pinky. I'm just saying, we slept in some pretty nasty places in this, whatever you want to call it.
You're right.
I mean,
and
at least
this is
it's
nicer.
dry.
This is a lot nicer.
Right. So I don't understand.
It's
the
fine.
problem.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm
You
just
sure?
gonna. I'm just. It's just a lot. Gonna.
Pinky, what happened?
It's fine.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. What is this?
You done? You were the nice one of the group when we first started. What happened? You've gotten kind of. Does this place make you uncomfortable? Is that like, do you not want to be in the Fae anymore?
Oh, the Fae is fine. The Fae is lovely.
Probably all the
I love
frogs.
the Fae.
It probably is all the frogs.
You have to understand, she's
And
a
snakes.
fairy in a group of frogs.
Ah,
She's pretty much a bug in a room of frogs.
these frogs haven't attacked us yet. Like any of them. The ones that can talk haven't given us any problems. I think
And
we can.
I appreciate that.
As of yet, I think we can trust them. Now, when they try to eat you, guess what? They're gonna have floor gang up in their shit.
I appreciate that more than you know. Okay?
Yeah.
I really do.
We got your back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
If you guys need to rest, we can take a room and keep watch and just kind of
I don't really need
make
a
it our
rest.
own room.
Yeah,
I think I'm all right now
I
too.
need a rest. Still.
I could use one.
You're fine after getting shot with an arrow and devoured by a cube.
I felt better.
I will come join you for a rest very shortly.
Eli will
From
walk
the
off and
restroom,
He goes
sit down.
flying off.
I'll go chill with Birdman.
There it is. There's my one a day. All the while, when this is happening, they're like still trying to talk to you, and you guys are like having to like kind of like turn your backs to them and like huddle in.
Like a group huddle.
Yeah. Fuck these frog people.
All right, Pinky like detangles herself from the entire mess of the entrance hall and goes into.
Okay,
this
and you guys
bathroom.
you guys walked up maybe 5-10 feet upstairs into like the top portion of this palace, and then Pinky, those stairs where you are, it's about 5-10 feet down into a pool that's 2 or 3 feet high, and there's more nobles sitting in there talking. There's a couple of bards playing music for the guests there as well.
Oh, this is nice. Looking around, I'm just like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll go to this one.
And are you just looking for Illiga Muckstump?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said Ligma.
Like my muff.
Yeah, you go and talk to this person and
Yeah.
hello, welcome. I've been hearing so much
Hi.
about you. You must tell me everything.
What have you heard about me?
Oh, you know the grand deeds and the great things that you've done. If you tell me, I will certainly make sure that the others know of your heroism.
What's your name?
My
I'll
name is-
introduce myself. If you
Please,
introduce
please.
I am Pinky of the Floor Gang.
Of the Floor Gang. And what is... Do you have a title? To be here, you should probably have a title.
I do indeed have a title. It's Pinky of Shiny Fly.
Pinky of Shiny Fly, how great. Oh, that's a rather lovely title. Say, oh, and myself, I am Tola of the Dirt Makers.
Are you into building?
Oh, certainly my family is responsible for the construction of many of the spaces that you see around here in Downfall.
Oh. Wow.
Yes.
That's very impressive.
Oh, it most certainly is. You know, we have a hand in everything, we like to say.
Could you introduce me to the rest of the people in this court area? Or should I introduce myself personally to them? Would that be more appropriate?
No, let me do the honors, please.
Okay. Be my guest.
And she kind of takes you over here to a couple more of them. Like, Esther Bago, I must require attention. Stop speaking. This here is Pinky Shiny Fly of the Floor Gang. And kind of a proper, like, thin and older looking frog. And like a very wide-faced, too much skin sort of frog. Look over at you. Like, pleasure to make your acquaintance. And the other one, oh yes, hello. Hello.
Hi. Who might you be?
I am Bago. And Bago of the Still Waters.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Certainly, she says. and the one in the kind of the red, like overly fluffy hats on top, and says, and sorry, my dog's being a butt. And she says, and we are of Clan Flycatcher. And she looks at you and she says, I know some people that would pay a handsome price for you.
I hope that's a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment and try not to be too offended by what you've just said.
Please do. Like, doesn't care in the slightest that she may have just offended you. It's more like, that's a your problem thing.
Could you introduce us to the other ones on the other side?
And which ones are you referring to?
These ones?
Those are, they're just musicians. Then
Oh, those are musicians?
nobody of consequence, dear.
Well, not to flute my own horn, but I am a bit of a musician myself.
Oh, do tell. What do you play?
I play the flute.
Oh, please. And the one that is escorting you, please, you must entertain us.
Perhaps another time when I am less busy and not quite so tired, I would love to.
I will hold you to that.
All right.
Well, if you must rest, then go on.
I shall.
Get your beauty sleep. You do look a little bit rough, dear.
Okay. We are in the midst of
Okay. Everybody going into the room over here?
this one?
Kevis walked back
Oh, this
outside.
cushion.
Kevis walked back outside. All right. Let's zoom in for Kevis. What's he doing?
Going up to the tree that's currently sticking out.
Okay. Sure. So it's like kind of, it's like a big branch that starts underneath the ground and kind of like moves about. So you could actually like literally go from the ground to the tree with like a little bit of a step up, and then it bulges and flares out afterwards.
Yeah. So yeah, Kevis would go out far enough to where there's no one around him.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit, grabbing the locket. Familiar. He says, "Okay, no riddles, no puzzles, no lessons. I need you now." And just waits.
You're muted.
Essentially, roll a persuasion check.
Eli, back on your PC?
Yeah. I'm on my PC right now. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
15.
Nice. 15. Okay. And you sit there and think and wait for a moment. And there's a rustling in one of the tree branches next to you inside of the leaves. And out pops, kind of hops a little like a blue jay, small one. Like does like pecks underneath its wing and kind of like looks to you and just cocks its head, and then its eyes go golden. There's horns that kind of grow out the back of its head. What is it that you need, Kevis?
It's about time.
Someone's grumpy.
You've been doing just fine. Lots to learn, isn't there?
You can say as much. Anyways, you've cared for me for the past. This is out again, Morgan. 8 years?
Yeah.
So you've cared for me the past 8 years. Those 8 years, I've trained with you. I've grown stronger. And you know, that was my fear, is being weak, being helpless.
Certainly.
Do you know who that was that night?
And the bird looks thoughtful. No, my friend.
And Kevis just drops his head.
There are politics, especially in the Fae, is an immensely complicated game. And you had no affiliation at the time. So it is difficult to identify who is responsible for something that happened that we cannot track. I heard your cries and I reached out. Gave you a way to come to us. To come to me. But as far as I know, you were not on anybody's radar at the time. Obviously, with the circumstances that happened. Sorry, something else just came up. Something that starts, with the events that happened. That is not entirely true. Someone had you on their radar. I just don't know who it was.
Was it me? Or was it my parents?
Hard to say. They too were unaffiliated.
Who would go after a family who lived in the woods? Didn't interact with anyone besides going in and doing our trading. What did we have that they wanted?
Clearly something. And he hops up a little closer and is like staring straight up at you. Give me your hand.
Reaches his hand out.
He comes over. Pecks one of your fingers hard.
Why?
Enough to draw a tiny bead of blood.
Kevis is like, really bad.
And he reaches up with his little bird claw and
Oh my god.
grabs it, hops over on one foot and smears it across the tree. And the wood begins to shape and shift. And it looks like a small map. And the map is of a very zoomed out space, and he says, especially within our world, those that walk and move of beast and mind are not always the ones that know everything. And the map, in the center of it, you see a small hunting cabin. You see a familiar creek that trickles by it. Familiar trees and hills in this space. It's a small map of not the entire area, but more of an immediate view of your home. It says, you've been seeking answers for something that happened there, but you've been looking elsewhere. Perhaps with who you are now, there's something you would find that you missed before.
You're telling me to go back to that cabin that I witnessed my parents' death.
I'm telling you, you can't run from it forever. Not if you want answers.
And help me
You'll
find
have
him.
to- And he pecks at the map. He says, and your eyes switch down and start staring at it again. At it again. He says, I just did. And you look up and the bird is gone.
Is the map still there?
The map is still there.
Kevis reaches down, puts his hand on where the cabin is. Fuck. Looks back up. He's pretty emotional at this point. Tries to put himself back together, kind of that aspect of he's fine. He's Kevis. Makes his way back into the tower or the castle.
Okay. All right. The rest of you, as Kevis and Pinky kind of return, you all take a couple of pillows and shove them against the wall, find ways to sleep. There is a kind of a consistent din, and there's certainly people looking in, pointing and gossiping about you all. Anything else that you guys are doing or saying or conversing about?
If Kevis comes back in at some point, Pinky will hand him something with a sleight of hand. If they kind of come in around the same time, I'm assuming.
A little bit.
I'd like to ask Eli if he's able to, cast some magic healing on my wings, and I'd also like to sit down cross-legged on the floor, and I'd just like to meditate with the spear in my hands.
Okay. Yeah, sleight of hand, you're able to... You guys are coming in about the same time, and you just move by and do a little stretch move and place something into Kevis's hand and keep moving. Kevis, with his, the way that he is and his training, he notices.
What I've given him is what was slipped into my drink at the court.
Got you. Find that.
Oh boy, here we go.
And all of Pinky's strange rules will now make sense to one person, maybe.
Okay. Zarius, you're meditating.
Yeah, I'm just meditating. See if I can get any read on this staff. I mean, on this spear.
Sure. Roll me a general wisdom check as you're trying to connect to it.
Wisdom.
7. From your perspective, you didn't see anything during the fight that would, with the Fomorian, that would indicate anything with this. Like, you saw him beat on a couple of constructs, then he hit you, and then it was black. And you're trying to like recall something that may have like come through your memory. But there's there's nothing. You have a block on it. It's like maybe something's there, but maybe it's because you're still kind of reeling from the fight, but it doesn't connect.
Alrighty. As I said, I'm just meditating, trying to rest. So.
Yeah. Eli, do you cast healing on Zarius?
I'm sorry, Zarius. I can't. I don't have anything left to give you.
Oh, that's quite all right, bud. Like you brought me back already, so it's like it's no big deal.
Let me rest first thing as soon as we wake up. We'll give it a shot.
Okay.
There.
And Zarius, give me a Constitution. I guess a Constitution saving throw.
1 second. Yeah, Constitution.
Just to kind of judge how well your body is healing throughout the day.
Saving throw or ability check? Which one did you say?
He just got eaten by a slime.
Yeah, let's go with just a check. Okay, 12. I feel that's kind of like a middle, like you haven't really gotten better today because you got eaten by a slime.
All right.
Your wing, like, oh man, I was on the right. It was like I feel like I was getting on the right path, but then, all right, any goodness that I would have had today got dissolved. So like, all right, maybe tomorrow I'll feel better.
This is rough.
Oh yeah.
All right, Moose, what are you doing?
I'm gonna ask the frog that's near me if there is a smith in the area.
She looks at you and she says, No smith, not really. Everything here is made out of wood and rope and tarp. Hard to find dry wood that a smith would need. Not impossible. So yeah, we don't really have one here.
Okay. And I'll go rest with the others.
All right. Kevis, Pinky, you guys going into the room?
Not immediately.
She'll slowly make her way back to the room.
Okay. And Kevis, if you like stay put for any amount of time, like the frogs start like clambering towards you.
As soon as Kevis sees a frog, he's going to the room.
He's
Not saying
like,
a word, just nope.
Kevis is like, oh nope. Oh my gosh, Kevis is like, nope. Not dealing with the
He's over these frogs.
All right, and they have enough sense to be like, okay, they need their sleep. Like, we should really let them rest, but like when they wake up, we should definitely like ask them about this.
Does Kevis hear him? This mumble.
Yeah, mumbling, and like they're definitely like.
As he steps foot into that room where they could still hear, he turns. Don't talk to us as soon as we wake up. Walks into the room.
Well, obviously,
My
I'm going to.
Oh,
Just keeps going into the room.
Sounds good. And you guys can hear the sounds of the bards in the other room in the sloshing of the pool. There's some gaps that you could like sideways step into and like drop down into the pool about 5 feet. There's also a gap over here that has a kind of a clothesline attached to the wall that goes up and into the fog into the distance. So there's a little bit of like a breeze. There's some airflow moving in and out of here. Anything before you guys take your rest and continue on? Okay. You guys feel fairly confident that these people are annoying and full of themselves and egotistical and shallow. But physically, safety-wise, you feel pretty confident that you're not going to have any problems sleeping here. Do you guys want to do a watch or no?
I'd say before Kevis actually falls asleep, before the group does, Kevis will be like, I only need about half the time you guys need to rest. So if we want to do a watch, I can take the last half. By myself, with someone, it doesn't matter.
I'll watch until you're ready.
Sounds good.
Okay. Duke, you've got some like fan sounds in the background.
Sorry about that.
No problem, man. Okay, so Moose, you're taking first watch. Go ahead and give me a perception check and a D100.
I'll take the last watch-ish.
Well, if you take the second watch, Kevis will be
Yeah.
fully rested, and he can take the last
Yeah,
portion.
I'll take the second. Essentially, yeah.
Okay, so everybody else curls up, falls asleep. Kevis sits down in his meditative, cross-legged style. Just stays there still. Okay. And Moose, all is good on this front. Staring out. Nobody's entering the room. Nobody's doing nothing. You're back to the wall.
Figure I'm like just petting Chestnut,
Yeah.
not really paying attention.
Yep. Solid watch. Excuse me.
Someday
Pinky,
you'll
next
be
up.
a big horse, and then maybe people will go inside of you. I heard of this one time where there was a big wood horse and people were like inside of it, and I don't know if that'll happen to you, but I won't go inside of you unless you know, if that's what you
me
do.
to?
This picture, someone
Oh.
peeking their eye open. Like, what?
Moose, oh, you're just amazing. Just so.
I like that he's requesting consent in this.
Yeah,
situation.
pretty
This
much.
was-
He's asking for consent. Oh.
with his toy horse. All right. All passes normally. Pinky, give Moose kind of like wakes you up, maybe by shaking your pillow that you're curled up on.
Oh, it's my turn.
So go ahead and give your perception in the D100. $18. Okay. Okay. Pinky, you're on high alert. You are the most tense one here because of the nature of these people. You feel
Like
just
I
your
don't
head
want
is
to
on
get
a swivel the whole time. Yeah. You don't see anything happening.
Okay. And Pinky will have her flute in her hand, just holding it.
Okay. And Kevis, last over to you. Ray. There's a lot on your mind. And so your eyes are open, but you are distracted. You don't see what's in front of your face today.
I feel like Kevis would be messing with his swords. Just looking at him.
Mm-hmm. Also, Kevis, with your trainings and such, with the texture of that map that Bird Baron made for you, you could know that you could like make an etch of that. Just like, put a piece of paper on and like.
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, you can.
You would definitely be
save,
doing that.
You can save that for later. Okay, and your watch comes to a peaceful close as you all get some rest. You all awake, and it is become nighttime. And it is certainly darker outside. But you wake up and the activity inside of the court has certainly died down. You kind of figure it's probably early morning time, and that everybody has kind of gone to some sort of like respective location and started sleeping. And let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back in about 15 minutes. All right. So you guys finished your long rest. You kind of went to bed a little bit early, so you're waking up still kind of like pre-dawn by a couple of hours. And everything is essentially... It's kind of like everybody went home. Whatever that means.
Kevis is happy.
Thank God those annoying frogs left.
Oh, they're gone?
I don't see them or hear them.
Kevis peeks around looking to see if any are like
hiding
or something.
Occasionally there's one or two that like seem to be asleep in the palace as well.
Kevis looks over. Do not wake them. That's to everybody.
Okay, so maybe like the loud ones should stay in here if we're going to go rummaging around the palace.
Let's clarify something. Who the fuck are the loud ones?
You.
Damn. All right.
Zaris. I think Moose can be.
As he uses booming voice.
No, actually, Moose. Yeah, maybe not Moose.
So, you.
Hey.
And Kevis.
Oh, so okay, all right, cool, whatever. I don't care. I'm just gonna turn around and like grab onto my gel ball and.
So you're saying just you, Pinky?
What is that? What is that?
I got it out the chest.
You think shaking it's a good idea?
You shaking it?
I don't know what else to do with it. It's fun. I mean, I look into it. Do I see anything inside? It's just a gel ball, right?
It's like a jelly ball, and like as you like play with it and stuff, you can like has a little stretch to it, and you can actually like make it kind of like expand and like put a hole in it, and like it just kind of like stays spherical, and then you can like pull it back down and like connect it and get small and becomes, you know, yeah, it's kind of maneuvers.
This is a dumb question, but is Kevis recognizing what that thing is?
Roll a nature check or an arcana check. What's the total there? I don't have my chat.
14.
14. That thing's weird.
Yeah. And Kevin just kind of stares at it. Where did you even get that?
At the chest. Sorry. I forgot you were like insane for a moment. Yeah, so after we fought the big cube, Zarius's spear went plunging down into that big cylinder. So I dove into it and got the spear out. While I was down there, I also pulled out a chest.
You dove
actually
into the pipe where that
Yep.
cube came from.
Yeah. We killed the cube, so, you know. Water was flowing. There was nothing. There's no other cubes down there. What?
you
Alright.
are.
That's all you
I
found
don't
in
know
that
if
chest?
you were stupid or you are brave. I think you're both.
What are you talking about? We killed the thing. It was. We needed the spear, right? I mean, that's Zarius' spear. I don't want him to lose it because no one wants to
Okay.
dive into it. And I dove in there, used Mage Hand. Not like I dove all the way down at first. I saw what was down there, and got the spear, and then got the chest. I don't think that's stupid.
Okay.
So
I think that was reckless.
I mean, says you. I have
Oh.
a ball.
So you got a ball out of a chest. That is
Squishy,
it.
squishy, squishy.
Yeah, and he got a necklace.
Where do you point at?
Oh, I believe that was Moose. Moose has a necklace.
Kevis looks over at Moose. You got a necklace? Looks back at Eli. You got a necklace?
I heard it was like a gold necklace with a black gem on it.
There was some swirly shit in the necklace too. It looked really pretty. He was gonna give it to Lily, but Lily didn't care. So
Lily?
Who's Lily?
sorry,
Who's Lily?
Pixie.
Do I recognize this necklace?
It's like sitting around his head or like his neck as he's like sleeping there. Just it looks as described. You've never seen this thing before.
Good.
Why? Why?
All right.
I'm gonna go out and sneak around real quick. I'll be yeah.
Don't take anything.
I won't.
Insight check.
All right, roll your insight check.
I believe her.
Yeah, you do. She's definitely learned her lessons.
Oh.
Definitely.
Also, before she leaves, she's like, also, we need to have a talk. And then Kevis
Who-
looks back towards the group.
Uh,
That was to you.
Right now?
No.
Okay. I'll go. Bye.
Don't die.
I'll try not to.
Look at Eli. You can heal, right?
I can
Okay, good.
technically. Oh, speaking of
Also,
which,
yeah.
Is Birdman alive right now? I don't even know. Is he awake?
He's
Yeah,
awake.
he's awake.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Birdman. Put my ball down. Let me feel you.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty easy going.
On
whatever.
that note, Kevis walks out.
Yeah, bend down. Let me touch you.
You better be walking out quiet.
No.
No,
Bend
he's
down.
just storming out.
Yeah, I got you, bro. And I'll cast wherever the hell it's at. Cure wounds.
Cure wounds, okay. And Zarius, roll a Constitution check with advantage as Eli is doing this for you.
Just pointing this out, I out stealth the rogue.
By one. One. Okay, by one.
Okay.
Is your stealth?
It's been a couple of days, a couple of rests, a bunch of magic, and that kind of feel like that cube, and just like the acidity from it, it's a little bit like acidity can be useful in medicinal properties, or in medicinal purposes. And it kind of makes it feel like your joints loosened up a little bit, like maybe got rid of some sort of like buildup that was between things, and like you start flexing your wings, and they feel good.
Shit. I'm back. Oh, help me get these off.
How
Help
does
get them off.
They're already off because the
Okay.
slime ate them.
Ate it away. Gotcha.
Yeah, it definitely like ate the braces you had on your wings.
Interesting.
Can I tell if it's been actually healed yet or not just by looking at them?
The movement seems much more steady and on purpose, and it seems pretty good. Yeah.
I would take it easy, but I would say give it a shot. See if you can stretch those things out.
How high is the ceiling in here?
Oh no.
It's about 20 feet, actually. It's pretty well domed up top. Yet again, like, false importance even in their architecture.
Alright, so I'd like to try to fly up 15 feet.
Yeah, you are able to. Pretty successful.
Alright, and then I will swoop back down.
Okay.
How about that? We did it.
Did it, buddy. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. That's
I don't
cool.
know how you do this walking thing every day. I just don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you down here.
Don't know if you could say the same. Are you gonna miss him down there?
I am gonna miss him down there.
Okay.
Is Darius gonna miss
watching.
you guys down
I'm not gonna miss the walking part, but I'll be watching out for you from above, buddy.
there?
Okay, Pinky, what are you up to?
Pinky is lifting up cushions that are not occupied by people.
Okay, roll an investigation check. What are you trying to find?
She's just looking for anything that is under there. And you know what? Just because I feel like, why not? She'll roll that d6.
Okay.
That was a bad roll.
So does
And
Kevis
it's
see
still
this as he
an
walks
8.
out?
Yeah.
Pinky's just like... lifting
There's
pillows.
there's like a fried cricket that you
No.
find underneath one of the pillows, like somebody dropped some food. And and some dust bunnies. And there's kind of a nice silvery looking decorated spoon. That's about it.
In this room? Okay, maybe she'll slink over to the next room and look under those pillows.
Yeah,
too.
it's for everything.
Kevis walks over with her pillow when she has the pillow up and just pushes the pillow down as she's looking under.
And Pinky, you didn't know he was there because he outstepped you.
Hey! What the heck, dude?
What did I just say?
What?
Just stares at her. Really?
I'm not taking anything. I'm looking.
You're not taking anything because you're not finding anything of value.
Okay. Look, I probably wasn't gonna take anything either way. I mean, there was a slim chance if I found something kind of useful I might have, but like,
And how well has that gotten us in any other situation?
look, no one's gonna miss like a dead fried cricket on the ground. It's
You
food.
never know.
It's food.
If you want to call it that, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, for Darius, it's food.
Fair enough. Anyways, this note. Where the hell did you get this?
Oh, I was sipping my drink, enjoying my time, and then, well, not actually like that, but like, I felt something. So yeah, that's where that note came from. I figured
you ate
maybe-
this?
I
Very
didn't
clearly
eat it.
has wine stains on it.
I didn't eat it. It was in my drink.
You just didn't see a piece of paper floating in your drink?
Not until it was in my mouth.
Yeah, it just makes note of that. All right.
Well,
Why did you give it to me?
because I figured you would be the best one, because, Darius over here is Mr. Blabbermouth, and I don't know, Moose is
can't look at
loud too,
Discord.
and
Can't look at Discord because Mike's playing with an imaginary ball for the last 5 minutes.
I'm trying to look at Lily, but her picture's under mine.
I was laughing so hard.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm
sorry.
This is awesome. Mike, point of inspiration for parents for physically acting like Eli would be.
And well, Eli, I don't know. Eli's Eli. He's I can never predict what he's going to do.
That's a really good point. He's in there playing with a goo ball right now. So
Exactly. For
Yeah,
all we
you guys-
know, that thing.
pretty
Gonna, like,
frequently, you guys hear.
swear to God, if he wakes this
See,
frog up.
now do you understand why I gave you the note and not everyone else?
Yeah,
the
that's
ball is
probably
like
a good idea.
consistently kind of wet.
Okay. Anyways, who is this?
I don't know. I figured we'd find this person and ask them, but I've been looking around and nobody. I have not heard their name.
So nobody here knows her?
I haven't asked them actually about.
Okay. Wild thought. I don't
Okay,
ask
but-
about her.
Okay, in the morning I'll ask them.
Okay. Also, you still need to go talk to that prisoner.
Oh, the prisoner. Yeah, I also I have little dragon gave me something. Fucking
Gonna take a quick pause.
the dagger.
That's where it pauses.
Eli, as you're playing with it in different forms, you stick your face in it. You're like expecting it to kind of like plastic bag you. You know, it's like you're not gonna be able to breathe. But as you put your face into it, you can actually breathe while that's like covering your face.
That is the worst person to have that.
Absolutely horrifying.
Yep. Yeah, you can like stretch it across and you're like unpause.
Oh, absolutely terrifying. I don't even want to know what's happening in there.
Can't wait till Kevis finds out that you got a thing you can breathe in when he goes underwater.
It's probably good for him. He more than likely will sink and not swim.
Okay. Ow. Okay. Dagger.
Yeah, I have his teleporter's dagger, so I've been just keeping it hidden. But I don't think it'd be good if people found out we had that.
No, probably not. That's a good idea. For once, you taking someone's stuff. Well, like it was kind of given to
He
you,
gave it
I
to
guess.
us. He was
Anyways.
given to us.
What do you plan to do with that?
What, the dagger?
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
you've got all kinds of ideas, don't you?
Look, I've got like 3 daggers on me plus these 2.
Oh yeah.
Just
Also,
like poofed up.
yeah, that is a whole other conversation we need to have. What the fuck is with that?
Oh. Well, I got what? She points to his horns. What the fuck is that?
I don't know that happened. Do I, Morgan?
You don't.
What the fuck?
Got an extra thingies. Yeah, you can tell me
Faye?
what the fuck happened over it. No. The Fae does not change your eye color to freaking green and black.
This is
No,
news to you.
Dude, I was like, do I know that? What do you
Nope.
mean changing your eyes?
You look, we killed the slime and then you were just like standing there for I don't know how long. Like I came over to you, I like waved my hand in front of your face, I like said your name, you weren't responding. Your eyes. I saw you grow an extra pair of horns.
Are you sure you're not like drunk?
You I
Okay,
see
the horn.
I see the
Okay, the
extra-
horns.
Could
I
you
don't
explain
understand.
that?
The eyes, really?
Look, you
I don't
were
do-
not
I-
there.
You
What
want s-
happened? Like after you killed that thing? Like what happened? Like were you? You didn't seem like you were here. Were you here? I don't think you were here.
Morgan, do I realize what happened?
You remember what you were thinking.
Okay. And the last thing I saw before all that happened was the arrow rip apart the cube.
Yep.
I mean, I remember I killed the cube.
Yeah, and then after that, you froze up, and like an extra pair of little horns came in. Your eyes got all funky. Are you okay, Kevis? Are you hiding something from us that might be something we should know about?
Nope. Nothing.
Insight check.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
That's a 9.
Pinky, you hear a voice inside of your head.
Oh.
And you're like trying to read like his expression, but Kevin's expression is real stoic.
What the fuck?
And
This is what I think it is.
there's a little voice inside your head that says, not his face, his words. Go ahead and roll a psionic die, if you would please, and add it to it.
That's an 11 now.
11.
What?
Kevis, persuasion or deception check. Roll that on your roll that physically, or roll that privately, so it doesn't show up in the chat.
What? Pinky's like kind of standing there looking at Kevis, but she's also kind of like am I okay?
You know, want to say
Don't say which category it is. Just say which score it was.
what the score was? 19.
Okay. It's really hard to read.
Okay. Look. You I don't know. Stupid poker face you have. You can keep your secret. But if they get us in trouble, I just hope you know that you can trust us.
Fucking guilt card.
Not me. I'm not saying you can trust me. Heck. But like us as a whole, as a group, you can trust.
All of us individually you can't trust, but us as a group you can definitely trust.
For sure.
That's so reassuring.
Look, I get it because I have a lot of secrets that I keep.
Yeah, like the fucking daggers from your hands.
Don't
the fuck?
know. Okay, I was upset. I didn't want to lose any more people.
Upset. Is that why you change colors?
What?
Is that why you change colors?
Excuse me?
Your dust. And point at the dust that's do you have dust going around you, I should say?
Normally if she's like flying, yeah, there's like a little bit of dust.
So I point at that. That was blue. And Telemi Hill.
Oh.
The fuck's that about? It's not real
well,
pinky.
Fuck.
Yeah. How's it feel me in the hot seat?
I guess one could say I wasn't always pinky. I mean, I've always been kind of pink, but not like pink.
You got secrets? I got
do.
secrets. I guess the real question, is this going to harm anybody here? Is that going to cause problems for us? Both
My
sides of
pinky stuff?
Yours
I
and
don't-
like mine, I guess.
I don't think anything that I have is going to harm anyone. None of my secrets are secrets that are dangerous. They're just secrets. Oh, frick, something just broke. Just secrets that I kept with me for a long time. They haven't hurt anyone so far.
Yeah.
But are your secrets, though? Will they come back to harm us at all?
I don't think they'll harm you guys.
Oh. Well, I guess that's reassuring. Like a secret for a secret? Should we do a secret exchange here?
Kevis just looks at his bag. And then that's, Morgan, that's where he put the sketching. Or the sketch of the map. Who wants to go first?
Ask me anything that you want to know about me that I haven't told you guys, or
Oh
that you
boy, here
think
we
I'm
go.
hiding from you. Let me pull out my background notes real quick.
Totally don't have a list of questions for Pinky. Okay.
Yeah.
Your name's Pinky, but you said you weren't always pink. Want to explain that?
My name's not actually Pinky. It's just what I went by at the carnival. My actual name is Octavia Nightingale.
I recognize that name.
Roll a history check, like a Feywild history check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That DC was really high, but you got it.
Yeah.
Not Octavia, but you know, it's more like you know that in a different portion of the Fey realm, there's a family name of Nightingale. that, you know, there's some stories about them occasionally. It's kind of like, yeah, I've heard the name. It's like more of an uncommon last name that shows up. You don't really have you don't really have any details on it. But like, okay, that checks out.
Why do you hide your name?
I guess I really didn't like anyone else calling me it. I needed a new start.
I can understand that.
So, yeah, I just kind of left my past behind me. The carnival was my new home. And, yeah.
Have you ever thought about going back?
If it's not gone.
You did say that there's a possibility of it being gone. Like, destroyed?
Say that. I don't know what know what really happened. The force, it just started dying. It kind of just like lost its will to live, it seemed like almost.
And you ran.
Everything. A lot of people were running.
It was just quiet. And reaches into his bag and pulls out that map. And just holds it out. You ran from something that you were afraid of. I did tell you guys, so did I. And I set the map down. What do you see?
What do I see? A hut?
It looks
In
like
the middle of forest?
It looks like a rubbing of a map of like a hut, living area. There's a like a workshop next to it. Yeah, it mostly just like looks like a hut in the forest with a bunch of trees surrounding it.
Just
Kevis, give me a perception check.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. 24.
Oh boy.
24. As you're looking at it, before you were very, intent and distracted talking to Oberon. But just you considering this and like kind of meditating over it, like during your watch, you were very distracted thinking about what he said, thinking about the rubbing, thinking about the space around you, kind of for the first time since it happened, giving yourself the permission to look backwards. And in doing so, there's a flood of new memories that come to you. Just not new memories, but like memories that have been sealed away. And as you look at this map, you didn't notice it before, but after sitting with it for 4 hours while you were on watch and then talking to Pinky, it's like just releasing the seal on those thoughts. There's something on that map that you don't recognize. It's near the edge where there's supposed to be a clearing that's usually filled with like clovers and wildflowers, and for whatever reason, trees don't try to grow there. Very frequently, it's a space where birds come in and fly, and you enjoyed, several afternoons, just sitting under the sun and or sitting under the shade while the sun was out, and just it's kind of like one of the few places inside of the forest that you could see for a little while before like the tree line cut it off. So it's kind of nice just to have like a long distance thing to see. And there is so on the map it you remember it's about 50 60 feet across, but there is a full-grown tree in the center of that field, big enough that couldn't have, or with your nature skills, you would know that that tree's big enough in comparison to everything else that couldn't have possibly grown in the last 8 years.
He is.
And yeah, Pinky, as like Kevis is like holding this out, you see him like fall back into his mind for a minute, and he's not connected with you for a moment.
Oh, there he goes again. We've lost connection.
Sorry, going through a tunnel.
Hello? Anyone on the other end of that phone?
I guess Kevis kind of just walked through some of the memories, right? The ones that kind of came back to him, the happy ones, the ones he got in trouble from his parents, just typical memories kids would have. And then mid-memory of like talking about those fields, when his eyes lock onto that tree, mid-sentence, he just stops and stares at it.
Kevis?
Yeah.
You kind of zoned out there again.
Yeah. Points to the tree. This wasn't here before.
Like, this on this map?
Yeah. This field, there were no trees. This was not here. This just grew. And he's just like stumbling through. That's not supposed to happen.
What? I'm confused.
This-
Have you what is this map of? All I see is a hut enforcing a tree.
This is where they were killed. This was my childhood home.
Who?
He grabs the locket and opens it and shows her.
Mm.
And he goes back to the tree. That's not normal.
Was it? That's bizarre. I'm not a nature fairy.
Like slap. This is a place I've never wanted to go see again.
Is it? I don't. Could we get to it from here even?
That's a good question, Morgan. This isn't in the Fae. This is in. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's still considered like to be part of the Sword Coast,
Okay.
or the Sword Coast is mostly like coastal kind of bay and dock sort of territory. But then, you can go off a ways, get up into the mountains, and that's kind of where you're from. Enough to get to the city within a day or two's travel.
I'm sorry, my headphones died. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so there, your home is in the kind of up in the the beginning slopes of the mountain range that is nearby the Sword Coast, or I'd say probably closest to Baldur's Gate of all the things. Not a great reputable town or anything, but that's where trade can be done and whatnot. And you guys would travel there a couple of times a season to do all your trading.
Mm-hmm. Can't get this is on the Swords Coast. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I know where that is.
Not really.
it's not here.
You've just spoken a foreign language to me.
Were we close to Swords Coast with the carnival? Just out of game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the carnival was outside of Candlekeep, which is part of the Sword Coast area.
Right by Baldur's Gate, yeah.
Pinky in general is kind of confined to the carnival and her Fey Realms area, so she doesn't really leave. She hasn't really left the carnival.
Yeah, I get that.
Right outside of things.
I got you.
Yeah, it's actually you don't leave the carnival, do you?
It was kind of in the contract. We couldn't be gone for more than 24 hours outside.
You definitely
the
broke that
carnivals.
contract.
Okay, well, yeah. But then, yeah, even before the carnival, I was in the Fae, so, yeah, I haven't really seen much of the material plane.
Makes sense.
Does it? I hope it does.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's. I mean, you kind of see them. It's a peaceful place, which is why it's confusing. Why a family in the middle of nowhere is targeted. I don't know.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people. And there's not really much explanation for it.
That is very true. Anyways, Oberon showed up.
Oh, he...
Yeah.
You contacted him? He contacted you? You contacted him?
You could call it that. That's putting it politely. This is... I've been hunting for this person.
You know who they are?
I wish.
Okay, well, that would be a good place to start, is finding out who you're hunting, I would think.
You would think an almighty god like Oberon would have answers. His answer is to go, and I point at the cabin. Here.
Oh. Well, do you want to go back there?
Do I want to go? No, I don't want to go back where I watched the death of my parents. But if there's answers to finding this man or this woman or this creature, then yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Do you want us to come with you? I'll come with you.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a reason that my family was targeted, if it was my mother, my father, or me. I don't want anyone else getting hurt.
I think we're a pretty capable group. If you asked everyone to come with you, I don't think many of them would say no.
Kevis peeks around the corner into the... Can Kevis see into that room that the rest of the group's in?
Yeah, you can basically see Zarius and Eli. See the end of like Moose's boots like sticking past the door frame.
Dude, I can see... You say I can see Eli?
Yeah, a little bit.
So as she says capable group,
depends.
what do I see Eli doing?
At this point, I would have. Oh no, I would have put that thing away by now. As soon as I realized that was something, I would have asked Birdman if he still had that card set, and we would have been figuring out the rules of the card set. Y'all been talking for a long fucking time, dude.
Mhm.
Eli got bored with the bubble.
If Kevis
No,
sees... Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they're just playing cards at this point.
Kevis just kind of leans over, like kind of looking over Pinky's shoulder. Capable's an interesting word.
I mean, I might take that back slightly, just considering some of them have like almost died on multiple occasions.
Haven't we all, though?
But I think you know, it's always better to work as a team versus being by yourself.
I've been alone for 8 years. On my own. No one to rely on. So getting used to the group. Looks back over at them again. Especially like
Alright.
this.
Alright,
This-
yeah, maybe they're not like the greatest, but like we're kind of stuck with them.
Looks back. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Exactly. And they're stuck with us.
I don't know. You all thought I ditched you guys for the raft.
Look,
Yeah.
you disappeared on us.
I fell into the water and can't breathe underwater.
Neither can I.
Nor can I fly.
Okay, well that's that's a you problem right there, my boy.
Sounds like a personal issue you need to work out there, bud.
I can't help you there, but
You do
Like
realize there
waves
are
is
ways
something
to
you have to deal
prevent
with.
you from flying. For example, a bird cage.
okay, that would be extremely mean. Like whoever does that is an extremely mean person.
Fair enough.
Plotting this whole time to put Birdman in a birdcage.
That would be like Kevin's coming to look over at Eli.
So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe do you want to try to get back to find this place? I don't know if we might need to like fix this place before we can even get back, I don't know.
I think we should try to get our stuff back first and then figure out from there. Because even
Yeah.
if I find out who did this, I don't remember what my parents look like. I've gone 8 years. I'm hunting someone who murdered my family. I don't remember what they look like.
Mm.
And I have a feeling everyone else's stuff, even if they say it's not as important, there's a reason they're still going to look for it. And look, peeks over again. Even if they don't act like it.
Kevis. Right about this time, you're back something on your back starts to feel warm.
Bleeding?
Then warmer and warmer and warmer until something is extremely hot touching your back.
Does Pinky see anything like over his back?
Yeah, you do. There's a little bit of like a red glow, and there's some smoke coming up from his quiver.
You're on fire?
What? And he's just ripping the quiver off, throwing it down, trying to stomp it out.
Okay, the quiver, it's coming from inside of the quiver. So you like grab it and throw it to the ground and like shake things, and like as you do, like the arrows kind of scatter. And one of them is glowing like a deep red, and like when a wood log like burns down. And it's burning and crackling and like it just like burns to the point where it snaps and breaks, and there's like a small fire starting on the ground, consuming the rest of your arrows.
She's
What
gonna
was
try
that?
to put it out. Is it still burning, or did it die?
It's still burning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
still burning.
Kevis is gonna
gosh.
try to put it out.
Yeah, okay.
Pinky's druid crafting this. She don't want to repeat a factory fire.
Okay, so in just a moment it snuffs out. And the arrow is no longer glowing red, but there's a little bit of like a white glow. If you're like looking at a burnt log, instead of it like glowing with like red cracks and blackened portions, it's like all the red portions have died, and underneath it's glowing. It's kind of that same pattern, but with like white, and it's no longer consuming the things around it, but it does continue to consume the arrow
What's
until
happening?
it just kind of turns to ash.
Kevis, what was that?
I don't know.
Are you like cursed or something, my friend? Like you got some like bad mojo following you around.
And Kevis just
Smell something?
Yeah, and the two of you, like, you're playing cards, and like you hear them like scream, and like the sound of like.
I'll take 2 more cards.
Go fish. Kevis, take off like 4 arrows that are now 2 damage to use.
Good.
Huh? What?
And Moose, you're gonna shake awake at this sound of going on.
Somebody cooking something?
Yeah, I think they're cooking up a little love potion over there.
Oh.
Really?
We've been giving them space. They've been over there for a while, chit-chatting, making a fire. You know, who knows?
Interesting.
You want to play some cards?
Well, they're both in the Fae.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, no.
Hey, I did like Eli.
Has that changed now?
Good to know that when someone's caught on fire.
Deal me in.
All right, cool. Yeah, look,
Oh
you
my
take bad
goodness.
cards.
So while we're over here gossiping about our backstories and catching stuff on fire, you all are over there having a game of cards?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
What do you want
Yeah,
us to
because
do?
you said that you were gonna go and that you'd be back, and we're still just waiting on you. So
We're the loud
passing
ones.
time, right? You guys moved 15 feet and then just started chatting away.
Whispering to each other.
You know, telling each other sweet nothings and stuff. That's fine. We're gonna sit here and play cards while
Oh
you
my gosh.
figure out what y'all want out of each other. You know.
Ah,
I'll
I
bet
really-
one constrictor tooth.
One constrictor tooth, huh? All right. Well, I got an eyeball for that. Hold on a second.
There's like this gruesome ante pile in the middle of the card game.
They're just doing bets while we're over here. What happened to your arrow? Is it just a pile of ash?
Is there anybody around this, Morgan? Watching this?
How much time has passed?
No, there's a couple of frogs like over like they're actually like submerged in the pool outside, so like and they don't seem to be moving.
And I burned 4 burned arrows.
Yeah, and you have 4 burned arrows. The other ones are like, that's unfortunate. They're not. They're gonna be fine. Like you can still use the rest. The others, like the fletching is too damaged, or the wood is too cracked. It won't fly straight.
Cool. That's a new one.
Serious? Are you in on
New
this?
one. What do you mean that's a new one?
That's
Oh,
never
did
happened
These
before.
things happen to you? Like, do other weird things happen to you that like?
I don't know. Do my horns or my eyes?
Have you like? Does this happen to you before? Like, some weird stuff's going around. I don't want to catch it. It's fine though.
No.
Okay. Good talk.
I say at this
So-
time, is it morning?
No, it's still like it's about instead of like 2 hours before dawn, it's like an hour and a half. It's like an hour and a half before dawn.
Y'all had an 8-hour dialogue.
Yeah, we can talk for 8 hours, you know,
Mhm.
casually.
Staying up late on the phone.
No, you hang up.
Okay, so do you want to? Are you gonna tell any of this to the group or?
Mike, you're killing me today.
I don't know.
Looks back at the group playing cards. I think we should.
For those playing cards, everybody roll a
Fuck yes.
roll a d20.
Is this rollies? Is this officially rollies?
This is official.
You deserve that.
Okay, and how about Zarius? Or what was that Zarius say?
Oh boy, these are some
Reading
good
the glass.
rolls.
Oh my gosh, you
Yeah, come on,
guys.
guys! You guys obviously do not know how to play this game.
Right. So who got that 7? It was
That was me.
it was Zarius. Y'all suck at bluffing, but Zarius sucks the least. So he wins the pot this time.
Yeah.
That's a giant constrictor tooth if you want to add it to your inventory.
It's just an eyeball.
What kind of an eyeball?
Nope. There's no. I have a bag full of them.
Oh, that's right.
Out of my components pouch, and it's just one of them.
All right.
Interesting.
I got 'em in my inventory.
So, they are playing like poker or something.
Yeah, maybe we should just
Free
keep
dragon ante.
them
We'll
on.
just keep this stuff between the two of us for now. That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Yeah,
actually.
they
yeah.
kind of look like they're easily distracted.
Yeah, we'll just keep this conversation between
I
the
don't
two
know
of
what
us.
you're talking
Just looks over.
and-
Do I see the eyeballs?
Dare you.
Yeah, you can see the pool of stuff in between, like that
Oh
they're
my
all betting
gosh! Look at what are they? Oh my goodness!
on. Moose, you lost that round because you were definitely distracted. As you're like getting ready and like thinking about your cards and stuff, you hear, "Little Benny,
The
when are
bull?
you coming home?
What the fuck?
There's work to be done."
My head, you spooky bitch.
You gonna show us your cards or what?
Exactly.
Yeah. This is what I got. Did you guys hear that?
A pair? Oh fuck! I have a low card.
3 of a kind.
Oh shit!
Oh my gosh. Should we go over and see what they're doing?
Much as I don't want to, we probably should.
Make sure they don't like.
It's all mine. I start
do
scooping up the
something
pot over
stupid.
towards me.
Do I recognize that voice at all?
Extremely familiar.
I think that's my conscious. Never mind.
You're conscious?
Wait, what?
We all have consciences.
We do?
Yeah, you were
Wait.
somebody was
Wait.
telling
We
us
do,
about
but
him.
some of us more than others listen to him.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you all doing?
We're playing cards.
Oh.
Why is there
Remember
an
he-
eyeball?
Huh?
Why?
Why? What is this pile?
I've got a bunch of weird shit. You want to see
This
my
is my
bag of weird
eyeball.
shit?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I see a lot of weird shit, but I guarantee your stuff tops it. Anyways, Moose, you said something about your conscious? What?
Yeah, don't you guys hear your conscious every once in a while? Wait, that's the wrong voice. Don't you guys hear your conscious every once in a while?
Wait, Moose.
What's up? What's up, Al, the time and space wizard in the Feywild? All of a sudden.
Yeah, Al goes high, Bane goes kind of lowish for me.
See, and I didn't even pick up on it because I'm like, yeah, I know this voice.
I'm like, wait a second. What's going on here, Moose? You sound
No, yeah,
different.
I just heard my conscious there. I hadn't heard it for a while, but
You haven't heard her for.
don't you guys all have a conscious?
Her?
Wait, being sexist now? Come on, deal up.
Look. I'm not.
Since he's not here, Zarius is like, you betting or what, Pinky?
Oh, sure. Put me in. I don't have a lot of stuff though on me, so like.
Yeah, everybody ante up some
Yeah.
random thing you have in your inventory.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out a petrified eye this time. See?
Let me.
Mushrooms?
I'm just gonna use his eye that he gave me.
I'm gonna pull out a
Okay.
Or
flute.
that I just won.
I would be okay getting my eyeball back, actually.
I will use this. I will use this small wooden chair.
That gives you a splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Kevis, you in?
Kevis is gonna pull out a flute and put it in the pile.
Pull out a flute.
Up in the ante.
He has a. You have
That's-
a
Had a
flute?
flute this entire time.
What?
Okay.
Can you play
Eli.
that? Wait, hold up, Kev. Can you play that?
Oh wow, that's a lot higher than I thought it was. Apparently.
Apparently. Have you ever like
Not gonna lie, out of game, I completely forgot that I am proficient with a flute.
and you didn't think to tell the person who carries around a flute with her on a constant this?
I don't advertise that I can play a flute. My mother taught me a little bit, and I played it when I was in the forest by myself. The animals liked it.
That
Oh.
is a much higher.
Ah.
That is a much higher bet than everyone else put in.
Yep, so
I'll call your flute with a holy symbol.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, what?
His spellcasting focus is on the line. I think that's what it is, right?
I have more than one.
Okay, a spellcasting focus is on the line.
What is the focus?
What do you mean? No, it is a cross, like
Okay.
like it's not like a full cross. I mean, it's one you can kind of hold in your hand like that.
Everybody else, you you guys keep it in and up in the matching the ante, or are you out?
I'll take out my bird pipes and I'll put them in.
All right.
All right. Pinky and Moose.
Too rich for my blood,
All right,
Yeah.
Moose folds.
which is weird.
He's like, the odd.
So Moose, you lose your whatever it was you put in.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. So you lose your mushrooms. Pinky, you in or out?
I will put in this random cap with a jellyfish on it that I found on the ground at the carnival.
Oh, like a baseball cap.
Yeah, I
yeah,
just
gotcha,
have cap with the jellyfish written down.
It's like a beanie with like tendrils.
Oh, hell yeah. No, this is fine.
Yeah.
All right.
That works. That's badass.
All right, something like this. We're gonna go with like a kind of like a best of 3 method. So let's do first 1 to 2. First 1 to 2 wins out of the group gets the pot. So everybody, give me rollies. Okay. Ooh, Kevis coming in high. How about Pinky?
7.
Okay, Kevis is the first one with a win. Next round. I'm just
Gosh.
gonna type something new. There's my marker.
Not that one.
It's 19.
Damn.
Okay, Pinky takes the second round, which is the like the river, the fold, the flop, all that. that's what we're doing.
Oh, she's like, please, come on. I need a little inspiration. I could use a little guidance.
Like, okay, I might have a
I
streak
got this.
here.
I get this. I understand the game.
Okay, next round.
Can I use a luck on that?
Yes, you can.
Sweet.
I did not say magic was not allowed.
Oh, well then,
Doesn't
please,
matter.
the Lord guide me.
Wow, so Eli with his massive 8
Weird.
takes that pot. So 1 to Eli, 1 to Pinky, 1 to Kevis.
Yep.
Next.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Oh, wow.
And that is a straight flush.
All right, and
Unbelievable.
with an arrogant flourish, Eli wins the pot of a flute, a jellyfish beanie, a chair that gives you splinters. Congratulations, you get that back. A flute, and I forget what else was put in.
Bird pipes?
Bird pipes.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, and mushrooms.
Bird
4
pipes.
mushrooms.
What are the bird pipes? What are they? Are they like
That's
the...
It's like a pan flute, I think, right?
Fatter pipe. Yeah, it's like a pan flute.
Gotcha. Cool. Ugh. I quit when I'm ahead. Y'all can keep playing if you want.
Good. I don't think I like this game.
That's fine. You can have the cursed flute.
It's always fun.
Wait, what?
Kevin just stands up. All right.
Look, my flute ain't cursed. So, I'm not trading.
Wait a minute. And Eli, hearing that, will sit down and fuck around for a minute and cast, as a ritual, detect magic on this thing.
On the flute?
On the flute, yeah.
On Kevis's flute? Alright.
Oh my goodness,
It's the
Kevin.
face of a DM who was not prepared for this. You sit down and ritual cast detect magic, and you feel magic on your friends, kind of like you always do. You definitely pick up magic on Xarius' spear. You do pick up magic on the necklace that Bane is wearing, and the bubble. And the flute comes off as a piece of wood.
Interesting.
You got a wooden flute? Not even like the real full metal deal here.
So knowing this, I am going to gallantly attempt to play. I don't know how to play the fucking flute, just so you guys know. But I'm going to attempt to play something out of this flute.
Sounds good. Roll a performance check at disadvantage.
Pinky is just watching this in horror.
Kevis is enjoying
it'll be
every
great.
second of this.
Right, so am I.
9.
Oh no.
It sounds like junior high band.
Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns.
Yep.
Awesome.
You don't even know how to.
I'm working on it.
To be
I didn't know how
fair,
to mime either.
I haven't played that in years, so
Yes, it could be worse.
Should I do a really loud honk out of the thing?
okay, let's not
Stick
wake
it in
the
the back.
frogs.
What frogs?
There's like
You're
some
dealing with them.
There's some like
I'm
rippling
dealing with
effects from like inside the pond itself, and they sound like those giant frogs that like sit around the perimeter and stuff.
They're fine. They're just frogs. Put the flute back into my shit. Put all my shit back in the pack.
All right.
We should do this again sometime. So, did you guys, consummate it, or like what?
Kevis just stares at you like you're an idiot. What?
I don't know. You guys went out there, and I thought you guys got married or something. Or you guys are you guys
What?
good to go? Right?
What?
Y'all were out there
Yeah,
for a long time, just
long time.
chit chatting, right there. I don't know. I've never
thought
had
you
it.
were leaving. You were like, "Hey, you guys stay here because you're not quiet," and then just went over there and talked. So
We went out to
We
look
good?
around, and from previous
didn't
Stop me
experience.
from
far.
looking around. Actually,
Okay, to be
I
fair, I
was going
stopped
to
you from
look
taking
around.
someone's stuff.
It's not.
Oh,
so
by the
much
way,
stuff.
Zarius,
It
and I
was
point-
Zarius.
I point at the
There was-
pillow where the cricket is.
Sounds like the
There's
honeymoon
food
is
under
over.
there for you.
There was a fried cricket on the ground, Zarius. Over there. Over here.
He's gone.
Feet over
He's
there.
just gone.
See, look! I told you.
Let's go find these animals and taxidermy them or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's still a thing.
I think we.
Do
just
we
have
want to
to
do this
find 'em
tonight,
and
or
bring
we
'em
want to do
back.
this when it's kind of morning?
Well, we already slept, and I'm really, really bored. This place is
Look, I'm
boring.
not
There's nobody
saying it's
awake.
a-
I can wake them up. I can wake people up, and then it might be a little bit more lively.
I would rather not be here when they wake up.
No, do not wait.
Where
Also,
where are we
I
supposed to go?
Flippin' frogs.
I don't think we know where to go. I don't know about the rest of you, but I do not have the greatest of night vision.
I can see fine.
So can I.
We could just find the dude with the head, right? Like that's why we need him, because he's a guide. So then he could guide us to where the stupid animals are. Let's go find him. Think he sleeps? He doesn't really have a head. Is he really alive?
Kind of harsh.
I mean, he's kind of got a point.
How is it harsh? I'm just asking. I mean,
It's
I don't even know how he
fate.
talks. Sure, answer for everything, Pinky.
Okay, but like
Answer fits
the
most
head's
of
on
the
I'm
the
gonna say it's the air.
All right. So what are you guys doing?
Actually, can I go back over to that ash pile on the ground?
Yeah. You guys come over and this is you guys come out and you see like an ash pile and like a few broken arrowheads and like kind of the remains of a couple of feathers. This is news to Eli and Moose and Zarius.
Let's like kick it around a little bit, see if there's anything in there.
You guys try to start a fire in here?
Next
No,
next to Candace, I just want to like, did you guys, nudge, wink, wink, huh? Yeah, that's what that looks like.
How tall does Eli stand next to Kevis?
Uh-oh.
Eli, how tall are you?
I'm 4'3".
You're 4'3"?
So it's what, like
It's pretty short.
Pretty
I'm
short.
5'9".
Pretty
Mhm.
sure everybody but Moose is pretty short.
Yeah. So Kevis, you think about Eli's height and you turn to the side, like, I don't know, to like figure out where to aim your backhand or something.
We didn't start a fire.
You have to like adjust your height.
You did ignite it.
We didn't ignite it. I would
It's
use
kind
it
of-
kindling.
Light it?
Nobody gives a flying fuck. It's great.
Kevin's just ignoring Eli at this point.
Oh shit. That was Mike. Sorry. That was it.
Yep, so Kevis, you have to like as you like aim your backhand, it's a little bit higher than you think it should be to like smack him in the face.
Just awkward.
Okay.
Kevin's just kind of. We didn't start this.
Fire.
I was,
Hey,
attempted
was
to be
it-
used
was
as
it-
kindling.
Was it always burning?
Like as long as it's been turning?
Talking about? I'm so confused now. Guys,
Well, where did it come from?
where did it go?
This entire episode is just lyrics.
We didn't start
Uh,
the fire.
An air.
If you didn't start the fire, did you and Pinky start the fire?
We didn't start
I-
the fire.
Then where'd it come from?
An arrow.
Yeah.
From my
your arrow
quiver.
or- yeah.
From his quiver.
That I did not.
Were you
One of
guys,
his
were you guys
arrows-
moving that fast?
Oh my god.
She can't move that fast.
Were you moving that fast?
No.
How dare you assume that I move slow though? I'm kind of offended. I can
Do we want to talk about the fight with the giants? Who got to the tree besides Moose because he could fly?
Okay. Look, I got to the tree pretty fast too. Thank you very much.
Want to
Actually
race?
got to the tree.
So nobody's a
We
fire
still-
just started in your quiver?
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
You're not.
well.
You don't know why.
Okay. So an arrow got very, very red hot, like to the point where it was burning stuff.
Were you polishing it?
No,
Where'd you get
it was on my
where'd you
back.
where'd you get the arrow from?
His quiver. He has a bow, guys. He's been shooting.
I know, but-
it
No.
this
He's
entire time.
asking where
Where
we
did
got
you get the
this arrow.
from?
Where did he procure the arrow from?
Or it was in your quiver.
Hey, where the fuck? You've just had the arrows. I've had them this whole time.
Did you buy them? Did you make them? Did someone give them to you?
Made
It's
them.
it's the same set of arrows that you've had, and you
Yeah.
and you when you recover the arrows after you shoot them if they're so good.
Yeah,
So you made this arrow and it just caught on fire.
yes.
You're a witch.
Says the one that bleeds tar.
Sometimes magic just happens.
Don't use magic like you guys.
I saw you use magic.
I mean,
I
it's
I
not
kind of
like.
saw you use magic too, though.
Yeah. Most
Why am I
definitely.
in the hot seat?
You're not in the hot speed. I don't care. I just
We're just trying to
entertaining
figure out why
conversation at
you're.
this point.
We're just trying to figure out why your arrow started fire.
I would
Pretty
love to
much.
know that.
Okay, you don't know.
So we're
Like,
we're
didn't you
questioning.
shoot an arrow at the slime and it was kind of glowy too?
Well, yeah, that's a trick Oberon taught me.
It's a trick.
Okay.
Moose, give me a perception check as you're trying to look at things and figure it out.
Did anything happen before the arrow caught on fire?
What do you mean?
I mean, did you get angry?
Were you angry?
Can't remember the conversation.
You
don't
were
think
you
you-
were thinking back of your home.
I didn't get angry, no.
Hmm.
Well,
Did you hit?
So Kevis and Zarius and Pinky, you guys are all talking about this, and like Zarius, Kevis is like gesturing down to the arrow. Like the only thing that's remaining of the one that started the fire is like the metal arrowhead. Even that is like blackened and cracked, but there's some like dark red splattering on it.
The arrowhead?
On the arrowhead.
Oh.
Like dark red, like almost black because it was like on fire, but there was something red on there before.
Can I
like
give
it was
like
coated
a little?
in something.
Maybe.
Do you want to pick that up?
Cautiously poke the arrow to see if it's hot.
Not hot. It's
Okay.
cool. Just moves around a little bit. And the arrowhead is not useful anymore. It's like super damaged and burnt.
Yeah, I'll just pick it up.
Is that
Pull an arrow out, like one that works, and just holding it
Mhm.
next to the messed up arrowhead.
Comparing the two?
Yeah.
It's one of yours. It's the same shape and size and dimensions and everything.
I'm gonna
So
rub
what
my arm.
happened?
It's just kind of sore right now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Out of curiosity, am I still detecting magic? At this point, it's been 10. I mean, I don't know how long it's been. But last
Sure,
10.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do get a little bit of, like, just a very faint trickle of magic energy from that. Evocation.
From the arrow?
And possibly conjuration as well.
You sure that you made this arrow?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
You
Wait,
wanna hold on?
why?
I have a feeling about it.
Feeling.
I've got this feeling.
I knew it.
I
knew
Yeah. Do you want to hold on to it, or is it okay if I hold on to this arrowhead?
It tried to catch me on fire, so here you go.
Thank you. And when I look at the red markings, do I have any recollection of this in my studies?
It looks like a blood pattern, like a blood splatter.
Figured. Yeah. Okay.
You know what this arrow is?
No, I don't necessarily know what the arrow is, but I recognize some of the magic that's used behind what happened here.
Okay, well, Sherlock, clue us in.
I mean, all I know is that this wasn't a made arrow. This was an arrow that was enchanted. That's all I really have to go off of. This was something that was created by magic, not by hands.
So
Well,
you're saying
it's more like you get the evocation and a little bit of conjuration from the blood itself. The arrow is normal.
Oh,
so the arrow is my arrow.
Mm-hmm.
got you.
So how would someone be able to enchant my arrow?
I don't think that still enchanted your arrow. I don't think they necessarily enchanted your arrow. I think something else happened. We'll find
Okay.
out. We'll find out.
Okay, as long
just
as like
random
I
question.
don't have a
Arrows
good. I don't have a good idea.
Is
but
this an
I have
arrow
a-
I've used, or is this one I haven't used yet? Hit anything?
Roll an intelligence check. It's kind of hard to know because like you don't
Right.
pay attention,
order.
and you don't pay attention like which ones you.
this is
use
my
to
favorite
fire, like,
arrow.
right? I named this one Bobby.
I'm just
Um,
curious if like chips are off of it, or if it's looks brand new, like nothing.
No,
but-
okay. So that portion, the
Started
arrow,
burns.
the arrowhead
oh, it wouldn't
is
matter.
like
Yeah.
slightly. It's missing like a small like portion of the tip. Like it is a used arrow for sure. Like you can see the signs of use from the arrowhead itself.
Oh. Okay.
Are any of your other arrows gonna like do this weird like catch on fire exploding thing?
It didn't explode.
Not explode. Any others gonna catch on
I'm
fire?
gonna pull the quiver over and look through every arrow.
Okay. Some of them are similarly like have wear and tear on them. Some of them are brand new, haven't been fired yet. It's just kind of luck of the draw. A few of them like just don't get chosen, and then like you recover them, and then they get chosen again.
Right.
So there's a variety of newness to them.
No blood.
No, because you have as a ranger, as an archer, you have a practice of cleaning off the arrowheads if you recover them. And that's a pretty well established practice that you have. So you kind of figured that you're not the one that put it in your quiver.
Excuse you.
My arrows, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Pinky, don't you use arrows?
I do.
You use a long bow, and she uses a short bow.
I
So
have
the
a
length of the
short
arrow is
arrow.
also pretty different.
Yeah. She's also.
And her fletching is green, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Your-
mine was
no.
green and pink.
No, Kevis, your fletchings are like purely green.
Mine
And-
was green and pink.
Yeah, and there's a green and pink from Pinkies. There's no.
Yeah, mine would be like a dark forest green.
Mhm.
Much more flowery.
So Eli, you're saying somebody took an arrow that I've used and put that blood mark on it?
Something like that.
Was that mine?
You don't
Huh?
shoot arrows, right?
Oh,
That's a good point.
oh.
I did shoot Moose in the arm with an arrow. Again, I'm sorry.
Moose, does your blood does your blood set fires?
It's kind of cool. You have like matching like circular scars on like either side of your arm.
I don't think it's done that before. I don't think I've been shot by an arrow before.
Did you put the arrow back in his pack for him?
I gave it to him, I think.
Well, it was you tried to give it back to him when he was like
Mm.
zoned out and stunned. So you probably just would have put it back in there because he wasn't responding.
Well, that solves this little murder mystery. He has exploding blood.
He has fire blood.
Fire
Fiery
blood,
blood.
tar blood.
Perfect sense.
Fire blood, tar blood, weird antler horn stuff.
That's rude.
You horness.
Okay.
Oh,
so
okay,
if
says
this-
the person who's labeling people's blood.
Okay, so this wasn't
Okay,
an act
colorful.
of evilness towards us. Like this isn't a big deal. Then, like this is a souvenir of Bane at this point. I'll flip it back to.
Are catch it? Are we positive?
That seems the most likely thing. I mean, yeah, this is something that I was thinking about, but that makes more sense to me than anything else. The fact that you shot a tiefling and then it caught on fire, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, usually tiefling is just what we say.
Okay.
Moose, do you have experience with stuff catching on fire when you've cut yourself? Like if you've cut yourself with a knife or something?
Oh, I've cut myself, sure. I don't think I started any non-purposeful fires.
You've never like accidentally started a fire?
I've definitely started fires.
I can believe that.
Okay, but like on accident.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe it's a Fae thing?
The Fae is weird. I'll give you that.
Can't roll that.
But
As of yet, we have no reason to believe that anybody did anything supremely nefarious to his arrow. It seemed to have been an accident.
Alright.
At this point, I mean, what are we gonna do about it anyways?
it's what's done is done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Well,
Shall we continue on to find Mr. Clapperclaw?
yeah.
Lead the
Clapper
way.
claws are the animals?
Yeah. Well, we need him to find the animals, right?
Yeah,
Who's
something like
actually
that.
going to find these animals?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
This
have Clapper.
downfall?
Somewhere in Downfall. They'd probably know where the
This is
the
the
animal
soggy
trapper person is.
Yeah, I figure he'd be able to find him. Let's go find him.
Okay.
So you guys leave the palace and you see the gators are kind of sleeping, like curled up on the mud, and the two guards are just like leaning against their spears, like just like totally snoring. And Pinky, you hear something kind of like up above you and to the right, and you hear a
Looking up. What the heck?
You see, you look up in the tree. You see Clapperclaw in the tree. He's running his metal claw along a branch, just making a kind of
My goodness.
kind of a tickling sound, like a.
Clapperclaw?
And Kevis, you recognize he is sitting in the same spot you were when you were talking to Oberon, which nobody else knows. And he's just running his claw against something textured.
Claw.
Kevis runs up there. Kevis immediately runs up there.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Hey.
what you doing up here? Do I see what he's rubbing his claw on?
Yeah, he's rubbing his claw on your map. I was like, I don't know, I found this new thing, and so I know like all the trees and stuff around here, and this is new, so I'm just like playing with it. It's kind of fun. Makes my claw tingle.
Cool. How well are you on? Do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Whoa, what is happening?
And he just like completely stops like mid stride, be like, yeah, let's play a game. And that's where we're gonna end.
Good job.